Okay, hey everybody, this is Darkseid Elite here with a podcast. Hopefully, this is going to be working. Got my buddy here. His name is David, and
Yeah,
we've been friends for a good long time. He is basically my brother from by another second mother, man. So,
yeah,
so um, he's the gentleman I've been talking about that has a lot of comic book knowledge, more about Marvel than I do. I know a good amount, but he knows way more than I do. I
you
know a
got
good
me on
amount.
DC though.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I got him on DC, and he hasn't been really catch up on a lot of things. He has his own stuff that's going on, and today we're gonna be bouncing ideas off of him and coming up with some good stuff. Like I said before, we'll try to keep this as PG-13 as possible. You
Oh,
got you
man,
got that,
so I
David?
got to edit myself. All right, cool.
So we're gonna keep everything as PC as possible. But one of the things I know that you and I have been talking about is what's been going on with the DC lately. You watched
Yep.
Man of Steel like I have, and tell everybody what you thought of it. What did you truly think of Man of Steel?
All right. First off, Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
this guy, like, he deserves the role. Like, he is Superman to me. Now, don't get me wrong, Christopher Reeves, great guy, loved him to death, but I'm telling you, man, Henry Cavill took it for the current uh, generation for the comics. New
Hmm.
52, it doesn't matter. It could
Yeah.
be the rebirth. You could throw him in any of those versions. He did an amazing job.
Hmm.
He said that he will stay in that shape forever as long as he can play Superman and give this man that role. He is quintessentially the perfect fit for all these current versions of Superman right now. Like, you can even make an Injustice movie with this man as the evil Superman. All day,
Hmm.
you can watch this movie and not have to worry about, well, he's not doing the character justice. Yes, he is. He's definitely doing the character justice. And for somebody to say like Superman doesn't kill, I'm like, well, that's not true. Superman is actually very evil. If you look back in all the old comics from back in the day, he was an asshole to Lois Lane. He used Jimmy as bait for a lot of the stuff that, like, come on, man, you didn't need Jimmy Olsen for nothing, bro. Like,
Hmm.
but you used him as bait. How did Jimmy get a comic? Because he was the bait. He was wondering, like, how squishy is this dude? Is he going to survive? Oh, damn. He's like a cockroach. He doesn't die easy. I'll keep you around as bait. If you really look at Gold, was it Golden Age, Silver Age, all those comics,
Hmm.
he treated Lois like crap and Jimmy like crap. And everybody was cool with it. Like, man, really? And then you have an issue with him snapping Zod's neck after he was trying to kill a mother and daughter and millions of people on planet Earth. And you're upset because he snapped this dude's neck who was never going to give up. But you're okay with the Golden Age stuff? Really? Like, this
Right.
dude was a complete narcissistic asshole. And that's why I love Batman more as my favorite DC hero than Superman. Because Superman, I mean, come on, man. You get rid of his powers, the guy can't, he's a sponge. Like, he's not going to fight you. You could freaking step on his toe and his body collapses when he lost his powers. Like, this guy can't fight for nothing. But this
Yeah.
movie, man, like, Henry did a really good job. He's very clean with it. And having him willing to do what it needs to be done is kind of leading to injustice in a way,
Yeah. And
like the way they wrote it.
yeah, the way they wrote it, and you and I will talk a little bit about Batman v Superman, but we'll get into that a little bit. But I said it. I mean, I I like Superman. I respect him. I mean, he's the father of all superheroes. I mean, there was a superhero before him, which was Captain Marvel or Shazam, but still, I mean, Superman made superheroes mainstream. So
Yeah,
I have huge respects for it, but I never really felt relatable to Superman. I couldn't I understood that he was corn fed and he was from Kansas and everything, but how can you truly relate with a man who can do anything?
mm-hmm.
And everybody does not truly understand that. But when you get down to the core who Superman is, he is by far an illegal alien. He doesn't truly belong here. He was just dropped on our doorstep and said, "Hey, take care of him." I mean, and but if you look at what he does what he can do with the best intentions, but he in a way he does lord over humanity because he has all these powers and he does what he feels is the right thing to do. He doesn't do what is in the best interest of humanity. He does what he thinks is the right thing to do, and
Exactly.
in a way that lords over anybody, and in a way it does say what Lex Luthor does say. He says numerous times that he's not here to help us. He's here to keep us under his boot. Because if what would happen if we decide we don't want to live by his rules? Is he gonna go after us? Is he gonna tell us what we have to do? He doesn't live by American or human ideals. He's an alien. He doesn't belong here.
Yeah,
And
he's not our Captain America, bro.
yeah, right. So I think a lot of people got to understand that that's where you get great stories of Superman. It's where you don't challenge him physically. I mean, anybody could challenge him physically. I mean, come on. I mean, you have Metallo, you have Parasite, you have Lex if he gets the power suit. You have General Zod, which we've had two times in the movie spectrum. But it's not about challenging Superman physically. It's about challenging Superman ideology, challenging his humanity versus what do you truly believe? Because in all of his time on Earth, he's always felt different, and his mom and pa has been trying to tell him like, hey, you have these gifts, and you can share with humanity, but you have to be careful on what you have to do, on what you do with them, and it's best illustrated in the Bruce Timm and Paul Dini universe where he confronted Darkseid for the last time in that whole Justice League Unlimited. He says, "I live in a world made of cardboard where he can, if he sneezes, he can kill people," and
Yep.
it racks him. It pisses him off because he can't truly let go. He can't let go, or people are going to die. The planet will be
He can
destroyed.
never truly be himself.
Yeah, he can't truly be free with what he can do with his abilities. He can wreck the planet. So he has to keep himself confined. And that's where I personally felt that they were doing with Man of Steel. They're showing us that he's confronted with these squishy people and he can't do nothing. He can't do
And
nothing. He has to
and the
sit
messed
there.
up part, he had to watch his dad tell him like, don't do it. And I'm like, oh really? Like that is so
Yeah.
brutal. That's
Yeah.
brutal because
And
I mean, look, Kevin Costner as his dad was great though,
yeah.
because you believe this man installed true morals, like
Yeah.
common sense in this kid. Like you never had to worry about is this Superman's going to go around and become the Injustice Superman.
Yeah.
You
Or
believe.
or that Brightburn super or Brightburn, you know.
Mm-hmm. All
So
right, let's talk about that.
yeah, right.
Let's talk about Brightburn. I loved it.
Yeah,
However, whoever said that was better than Man of Steel,
you
I
can get
want
your
you
head
to
examined.
fall on several pineapples and they need to go through your insides, through your freaking mouth. I'm editing myself because you know how I am.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want you to be Hitler and Little Nicky, okay? I
Yeah,
want
right.
you to enjoy those pineapples because you obviously don't read comics.
Right.
So don't say there and say Brightburn is the Superman we should have had. This kid murdered
People.
everybody.
And
If
he
you
did
watch
it
the
and it,
credits, he starts killing.
yeah.
He's on a rampage. Nothing you can say is better than Superman. No way.
Yeah.
As an evil Superman, all day.
Yeah, and
I get it.
I still say it that movie was a gigantic middle finger to all the people that said, "Well, I didn't like Man of Steel because he didn't save people's lives." Well, here's a murderous Superman who basically is a sociopath that doesn't give two s's about anything. The only thing
Right,
that
and he
kept him,
experimented on a woman, cutting her up like she was a freaking frog in the lab. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, cool, man. Like this is
right.
crazy.
So
I
and
like
then
this kid very much.
yeah, right. So and then in that movie, the only thing that kept him sane was his mother. That was the only
And
thing that
she
kept him
screwed that
sane.
up, man.
And she screwed that up until he said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna take you in the air and let you
Yep.
go." And she's like,
That
"Yeah, I'm dead."
he's like,
You
oh
know,
look, he's like, look, a cover story. Here's a
right?
plane. Like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah,
And you,
right.
the underlined sinisterness of what he did when he went to that little girl and said, "I'm going to take care of the problem, your mother."
Hmm.
You know, he raped that girl.
Pretty
They
much.
they didn't want to show it because they're little children, quote unquote.
Hmm.
That he raped that girl to death. That girl is not alive. That's why you never see her again. She's dead. That's it. It's over. You
Yeah.
can't have a sequel to this movie.
No,
It's impossible.
it's
For somebody
impossible.
to make a sequel to this movie, you're an
It
idiot.
yeah, it's an idiot. It's an idiot, Aaron, and they never showed a weakness to give us that can actually for them to stop him.
But there was, however, only one person figured it out, and
Yeah.
now they're mush.
Yep.
They're fertilizer for the farm
Yep.
that was never farmed. Like, what kind of farm is it? This is why they weren't Ma and Pa Kent.
Yep.
One, they didn't install hard work ethics. They
Nope.
didn't actually sit down and truly love him as their kid. They just kind of talked at him and
Mm-hmm.
not with him.
Yep.
So,
And also,
being that
and
him growing up, knowing what he is, they didn't try to treat him like as if he was human. So now, like, this
mhm.
kid's monstrous rage shows up, and it's unhindered because they didn't speak to him like that was their kid. They didn't truly love him. So, and he realized that obviously when he got shot in the back of the head.
Right. So the one thing, if you really look at it, Mom and Pa Kent instilled a Christian value in him. And I know that a lot of people are gonna say, I know myself
That's
is,
true though.
I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person, and David is a religious person himself. And but we both can agree that the underlying feature for Superman is he is a God fearing person.
He went
But
to church every Sunday. Like, if you
yeah,
really look at the old comics in Golden Age, right? Did
hmm
he not go to Sunday school when he was Superboy? I mean, he
yeah,
flew as Superboy, and he
yeah,
had Crypto,
yep,
and then Batman had Ace,
yep,
but he had the the childhood that sometimes we wish we had.
yep,
Uh, it was simple. You
yeah,
had to work hard to have what you want in life.
yeah. And
Nowadays, everybody wants things handed to them.
exactly. And for Superman's case, that's what I'm saying is that um him as a young kid, we could all relate with that because he's a kid, he is different, but he's still his mother and father was still there for him. He wasn't isolated, even though he
You
couldn't
know,
have friends. He couldn't have a lot of friends because of his abilities. The only person that was able to get anywhere near him was Lana, because Lana actually liked him, and Pete Ross. And Pete Ross wasn't a bully to him. He was just a kid that basically liked him, and he was. And the Kents were a
yeah, he
family
wasn't
that's
Flash
been there for a
Thompson.
long time. They were a pillar of that community. So
Yeah, because for
the
that understanding for people nowadays, it's called learning how to grow up in the real world. No electronic. I'm surprised you have a telephone. You know,
right,
that type of situation. Like, this is like living in the desert for people who are here today. And
yeah,
this was like true childhood for a lot of people up until the 80s, because the
right.
90s started ruining everybody.
Pretty much, it was the explosion of the digital age. Pretty much.
Mm,
So so you and I both agree that Man of Steel is quite possibly the best Superman origin story that we
it
got.
is all
And
day. It is,
it
because you look at the Christopher Reeves one, right?
yeah.
And you look at this one. Christopher Reeves, it's not really an origin. There's no origin. Like, you don't see the mom and dad situation. Like, they totally skipped that. Now, Donner, look, man, I like that guy a lot. That guy has made quite a bit of some of the most iconic movie series in the 80s, 70s, 80s. I mean,
Yep.
come on, man. He gave us Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
You got to shake that man's hand. Like, that guy gave
I
us
will.
some
If I ever
really
meet him,
cool
I would shake his
series,
hand.
right? So he did the Superman movie in a way where he knew it fit and that it would last. He
Yeah.
actually thought about it. And then when they went with the different storyline and Superman with the ridiculous spin the world backwards and time difference thing, I'm like, okay, so he did a Flashpoint paradox in the movie. That's interesting. I don't. He doesn't have that ability. He never will have that ability. I think that's just strange that they decided off the
Yeah.
wall
Yeah,
to
that
do
he was able
that.
to spin so fast. He was able to spin the planet backwards to make it go back in time. I mean,
Right.
he has some
Which
stupid,
would have
ridiculous powers that could.
destroyed the freaking planet. This would have turned the planet into a bomb. Like, you're turning the axis to an opposite magnetic polar charge, right?
Yeah.
So now you're going against the natural flow of a planet that's supposed to move one direction, and you're spinning it the opposite direction. The core should have blew up.
Yeah.
He should have been sitting out there in space. Well, damn, that happened. Yeah. You know what? Your chick died, bro. In dirt. Funeral over. Let it go. Move on. You're an alien. You can't mate with her anyways. Well, I kind of liked you. Huh. I need to find somebody I can actually mate with.
Yeah, like, he met her one time, and it's not like it's supposed to be like instant fall in love. That's just kind of strange. But I mean,
and that's not his race, though. His race is not like that. Like, I don't understand how.
They're a logical race. They're a logical race. They're a scientific people. I mean,
well, they're not Spock, but
no.
It's like their logic is there, and it's not, because they messed up. They know they messed up. That's why they sent him in a pod. They knew they screwed up everything. They're like, well, we were smart up until now.
His dad knew his dad knew, but I mean,
and on top of that, he was the only natural born. So if you really think about how new stories and all that, I prefer the new stories where he was the only true natural born child.
I actually like that one. I feel that the using with the genetic disposition from the Codex, I thought that was actually one of the best ways to show that Krypton's race became so autonomous that they just said, you know what, we're gonna try to create the perfect Kryptonian beings, and it's like, what, you know. I think that Zack Snyder and
But that's what's happening today, right? That's why Zack did that. Because think about it, Zack's not stupid.
No,
the way he writes is very smart. Him and his wife, they write really very well together.
Mm-hmm.
You see that movie, right? People are not paying attention. He sent us an amazing visual message. Technology is doing that to us today. I just watched a science 10-minute thing on YouTube today about that. And the way things are going with Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff, it's trying to make us into these autonomous drones that they're going to, in Sweden, they're already putting microchips in computer stopping people already. And then I'm sitting there like, you guys are going to fall apart before any of us. Like, Sweden's going to fall down to the ground. They're going to fall apart because they're adding all these things inside the body that are foreign. Like, adding foreign stuff into you can actually get you killed.
Right.
It's turning you into, something non-human. And that's basically what happened in the movie. He's showing that because that's what's happening now today. He put it to current times. Mm-hmm. So for people to, take a dump all over his story, that just means they are the drones already. They're following the masses of stupidity, that technology is everything, and you shouldn't do that. You know why they're butthurt? Because he told the truth within a movie that had a great story.
Yeah.
And he's showing the downfall of that society through that.
And he was showing that Krypton, that Earth will follow the same path as Krypton, and Krypton was way technologically advanced. They had liquid metal, for God's sakes. They were going to be able to create inanimate objects out of liquid metal, and that's something that you haven't seen since Terminator freaking 2. So,
right. Wait, and here's the other funny part. And I remember I ruined the scene for okay, hold up, man. This is funny. So he was like, when he was yelling and doing his speech and all that, and whoever did the visual effects for this, I kind of want to punch them in the face, bro. But the dildo ship that sent them out into space, I will find him. And I will find him. And then he all of a sudden he's encased in this freaking dildo that shoots him on the space. So you're basically saying, subconsciously, visually, that he's gonna penetrate.
Right.
And the horror in the mom's face, like, wow. How you beat my husband because he got distracted. My husband was whooping you all over the place, and now we're sending you off in a penis.
Great. You're fucked.
The horror in her face. She's like, oh, man. It's not about you finding my kid. It's about that we just zipped you off in a penis. It's so funny. And then if you think about it, it's like he was shot out in our area in the universe, and they had a rebirth. They had a rebirth, and they had that weird filmy type technology that covered their heads, and they were breathing really good. But then all of a sudden, monsters showed up. They were monsters that showed up on the Earth. Freaking Superman's like, well, damn. Just don't touch my mom. Everybody else, I don't care. That was the kind of attitude at that time. If you really look, he was like, yo, you go after my mom, I'm coming for you.
Pretty much. Yeah,
sure enough, he did, man. He was like, you touch my mama?
Yeah.
No.
He literally told him. As he was flying, he basically bum rushed him, and he said, "You think you could threaten my mother?" As he's punching his face open. I'm like, yeah, well, dude. I mean, shoot. I mean, again, this is Superman who's raw in this movie. He's raw. He's not. He doesn't understand his powers very well, and he's angry.
And that's his only anchor at the time, because his dad's gone. Because his dad was the real anchor. The mom was just a chain. And then when he sacrificed himself, knowing like, yo, man, I got to protect you. I can't let you do that. I know you can save me, but sorry, man. And he steps back and poof, gone. Now the mom ended up becoming the anchor after that. But, and then you got Lois, who eventually becomes that. But in the same time, you're looking at it like, well, I mean, that's cool and all, but the dynamic that we got from her in the first movie was kind of the curiosity.
I mean, she was curious, and also this was her first introduction to the greater whole. So
no, man, he was curious. I mean, her curiosity was nothing to me. Like his curiosity was like, can I like a human? Should I like a human? I mean, I had a crush on one a couple of times, but and Lex pointed it out. Like he can't breed with us, which is kind of a downside, because he can't obviously have a kid. And then in, what was it, New 52, where he was able to have a kid with a human?
No, Rebirth.
Rebirth.
That's when we found,
okay.
Rebirth when we found out that Lois got pregnant, and we found out about Jonathan Kent.
Right. And then also Injustice had the same situation.
Yep. Okay, let's hit to BVS. Let's get to BVS now. You and I both saw the theatrical cut, and theatrical, to me, the theatrical cut isn't bad. It's still a good watchable movie.
It's better than the Marvel movies that have been coming out. You already know how I feel about that. I knew you were
gonna go there. It's like, don't mention Marvel. Don't mention Marvel. It's better than Marvel movies that are out there. I was like, okay, he already went there. He already went there.
I don't care, man. And all you butthurt people who are gonna hear this, enjoy it, okay? Because you know, F you MCU. I'm tired of those movies, man. Those movies are trash. Stop making them. That's eating stale popcorn with a kernel that stabs you in your gums and you can't get it out. That's the Marvel movies, man. I am so tired of it. It's like stuck in your teeth and you just can't even use floss.
No, you can't get rid of it, and you pay close to $20 for a box of popcorn and a fucking drink.
And your gums start to bleed because you're sitting there trying to pick it out an hour and it still won't leave. So yeah, that's Marvel movies to me right now. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry.
So we both can agree that, I mean, theatrical cut wasn't bad, but the ultimate cut,
that was cool though, because we have an extra 15 minutes on the backstory of
30.
Okay, well, with Clark, I think it was 15 extra.
Yeah,
and
we had literally about, I would probably say at most 20 minutes. Of Clark Kent's story.
It was around that, because like we ended up with what we needed.
Yeah.
I don't know why they make Schneider cut his movies. Don't cut this man's movies. I'll sit in the theater for 4 hours if you let him do his thing.
You're right.
Okay.
It's already been proven.
Sit 4 hours in a movie. People doing marathons for the garbage kernel stuck in your teeth movies. Marathons of freaking 8 movies. People are sitting there. I made that mistake one time when a friend of mine went over with his wife, and we watched the marathon to watch Iron Man, and we watched like 5 movies. to watch the debacle of Iron Man 3.
Oh
You
God.
insulted me so much with that mess. Like, look, I love Robert Downey Jr., but that
Yeah.
movie was terrible. I'd rather have another Sherlock Holmes movie from him than this. I'm like,
Right.
no more freaking Marvel movies, bro. Go, just make another Sherlock Holmes. I don't care. Just no more. This is bad. And
Hmm.
I like the idea of how he looks like Doctor Strange too, though. So, with that said, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. If you could sit there through a marathon of
I knew
garbage
it.
Marvel movies, you could sit through 4 hours of a Schneider film. I'm sorry,
Right.
but he makes
It,
great movies.
he does.
Look at Watchmen. Watchmen was,
Oh my
was
God.
the love child between him and his wife because she wrote a lot of that movie. And
Hmm.
you're sitting there looking at it like, well, dang, dude, like this movie's amazing. That movie was almost 3 hours long when you saw it in the theaters. It was long. So
Yep.
how are you gonna say, oh, 4 hours is too long? People sat through Lord of the Rings, no problem.
Right.
How
No
dare
problem.
you tell us what we're willing to do? If
Right.
we're a fan, because I'm a big fan of this guy. This guy's his zombie movie alone told you this guy's gonna make awesome movies.
Well, you can't wait for Army of the Dead. That's gonna be coming out on Netflix.
I I didn't see a trailer for that.
No, no, it's not out. No, there's no trailer out yet because he's still filming it.
Okay. I thought maybe they would have like a teaser like they did with Henry as Gareth in Witcher.
Yeah, but I think that because it's his production company. His production company is the one that's doing it. So I think that he's just holding back a little bit.
Now, what was this company called again?
I forgot what it was called, but now he changed the name of it. It's called the Stone Quarry now.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he had a different name because like JJ,
Yeah.
yeah. But Schneider
Um.
had he's just all around better for me.
Yeah, dude. He's way above his time. I'm sorry to say it. James Cameron and there's one other director. James Cameron even said it that this guy is. Oh, and Christopher Nolan. They said that
Yeah,
Zack Snyder is way beyond most directors today, and I think that's the reason why they respect his work because
he's going to be our new James Cameron. I'm telling you, he's going to make a movie that's going to break the record. Like it's
yeah,
going to happen. And James
yeah,
Cameron makes great movies, man. I mean, the guy
yeah,
broke the record with a movie you didn't think would ever beat Star Wars, but it did. And I'm like, great.
yep,
I don't know if I could like this guy. And then he goes and he breaks that record with Avatar.
yep,
And you're sitting there like, oh, he broke his own record. This guy's legit. Like,
right,
and he invented a camera just to do that. And I'm like, okay, man, this guy's amazing.
hmm,
Now we're sitting here waiting forever for the continuation of those stories.
yeah. He'll
Dang,
finish it,
dude.
but I think that these movies will be his last legacy to us before he finally says, you know
Oh
what, I'm
yeah,
good now.
he's I'm telling you, he's setting Snyder up for super success because he not only made this camera, which Snyder would not use yet because he hasn't found a movie to do that yet, but I'm sure he will. Uh,
Hold
Cameron
on,
is making the technology so you could watch 3D movies without glasses. He's
yeah,
doing that right now.
now,
So
yeah.
he's definitely setting up Schneider for an awesome experience.
Well,
So I'm waiting
the,
for it.
the thing is with Snyder is Snyder's not a digital filmer. He doesn't film digitally. He does film. He does
Yeah,
a,
I know.
35 millimeter. So, but he does his post in digital. He has to. So, oh man, oh god, it goes back to Man of Steel. Oh my god, that movie was done in film and it looked, God, it
You
was
know what
so
it
good,
is
man.
though? He's a realist.
Yeah, he
He's a
is.
realist. Like I wouldn't say he's a purist.
No.
He's a realist. Like he keeps it the way it should be. The
Yeah,
'80s
he doesn't
was
he keeps it to the way he he does it a certain way, but he keeps to the core of what it's about. That's what he does.
yeah.
And I understand how people feel about, Henry Cavill and how they wrote Superman, but you also got to look at the story and how he was trying to build Superman up from the ground floor. He's not going to give cuz like you said in the Donner films, Superman was given everything. He was given
Yep.
20 years of experience with his abilities. He was given the
Automatic, and he
Fortress of
was already
Solitude.
working
Yeah.
as a reporter. Like
Yeah,
he was already in that life. Like,
he was already done. So but in Zack Snyder's version, if you really look at it, he doesn't have much reporter experience. He had to learn how to use his powers, and he was mumbling and fumbling around even when he was fighting against Feora and Non. While
oh my
during
gosh.
the Smallville scene, yeah, I know, right? So it's showing he's growing, and that's what I liked about it because I was like, we're watching him mumble and fumble, but he was putting his own against two highly trained Kryptonian fighters.
Yeah.
And
Who are
Feora,
actually weaker than his dad. So that's
shit,
crazy. That that's a scientist and he's able to put you into submission. That oh man. You have to cheat to win against his dad. That's the only way you were gonna beat him. Because the dad was not only super smart, but he was a freaking assassin. That scared Zod. The only person on that planet that could have stopped that right then and there was Jarrell.
yeah,
But he
and,
got distracted because he was trying to send his kid to safety.
yep,
I'm like,
and
oh man.
oh man, and oh my God, Feora, dude, Zod was a boss. You and I can agree, Zod was a boss in that movie, but no one,
Pharaoh's on a permanent period. Okay, like
yeah,
this, she is not a nice person. Like
yeah,
she's on a period 24/7.
yeah,
Like the worst
Feora
of the worst.
Feora was just disgustingly awesome. She beat him across the all over Smallville and kept insulting him, dude. It was like, are you kidding me? It's just you believe that your goodness gives you an evolutionary advantage over us. I was like, what? She's
It's
beat him
like
up in an IHOP. I was like,
a
what?
freaking monster, man. Like that, I mean, and then even
Oh
though
my
he
God.
wasn't as big as he should have been, but he, the gorilla of the group was not as skilled as her.
No, he was a brute fighter. He just bum rushed through everybody. I mean
But
and
that's
that's
Superman,
understandable
though.
because
Think about that. That's
yeah,
Superman. That he just trips on a pebble and smashes the bad guys because why? He's not skilled. He
and
doesn't want to learn to fight, and that's
and
terrible.
yeah, but I mean, geez. So okay, so let's get into BVS. Now, it's a continuation from Man of Steel, and we both, as you probably have noticed already before, we're gushing all over Man of Steel, thinking it's one of the best one of the best origin movies for Superman we've ever seen. So let's get into the introduction. So, how did you feel about the introduction into BVS where it showed Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne watching the destruction of Metropolis as he was there? How did you feel about that whole situation?
Well, I mean, I didn't like the idea that they never met. Like, this is an older Bruce. Like, he would have known already. You're acting like this was his first ever hearing about him, which he would have known about him. This is Batman. He definitely would have known somebody was going around doing this stuff. And him being there when it happened in Metropolis, I mean, I could believe it because Wayne Tech is everywhere. Like it's a phenomenal company when in the DC. Like he
Mm-hmm.
is that guy, but he's not into being above people. So he does have a lot of heart. He does care. He cares more about people than Superman will ever will. I don't care how many people say, "Well, Superman is wholesome." No, he's not. No, he is not. If you say Batman's dark and brooding and all this other BS, that man cares more about other people than he does himself. You're saying it's all about vengeance and all this other BS. That's not true. He already passed all that. He already got his redemption, all this other garbage. This man goes through so much that he's crawling through the trash heap every day just to protect these meek people who don't even want to defend themselves, even including the cops. And then you're mad at this guy for doing what you should be doing as a people. I'm not talking about law enforcement. I'm talking about as a people. So you're allowing Gotham to be a cesspool because you are too afraid to stand up. You're too afraid to, learn to defend yourself verbally, physically, whatever it is. And then you got this guy who has everything, who doesn't need to do a damn thing for it. And he's going around at night adopting children and turning them into uber badasses, and you're mad at that? How are you mad? You should be mad at the fact that you have a Superman running around saving people but never goes to Gotham. Why? Because he's afraid of Batman. I don't care what you say. That's the one. Man, I wish that line from the comic was in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
I want you to remember the one man on this planet that was able to kill you and didn't do it. Man, that right there was like, wow.
Hmm.
And you were shot by a guy with one arm. Like that
Right?
you were set up because this man knows how to plan so well. And this is the older Bruce. This guy was like what, almost 80 at this time,
Yeah,
and
70s and 80s.
he was able to put Superman to the brink of death, and he didn't kill him. Why? Because they were best friends once. And he was like, man, if I'm able to
He
kill,
wanted to teach him a lesson.
yeah, yeah, stop being naive, man. How are you naive after years of us hanging out, being the world's finest? For those of you who don't know, that's Batman and Superman, not Batman versus Superman. That's Batman and Superman, world's finest. But they call it that now, Batman and Superman, which is whatever.
Right?
They were called world's finest for a reason. They were best friends. Superman had to take the mantle as Batman a couple times because they couldn't find Bruce, because Talia is a psycho and a rapist, which why Damien is a nutcase. But either way, I digress from that. Anyways, seeing that, being that that was his first encounter, I found that kind of messed up. Like that was like, come on, man, he should know already. Him and Alfred should have talked about contingencies for this already. Like, because he bounces that type of stuff off of Alfred all the time. So how come they didn't have a contingency for that? And granted, yes, he's progressed to a point where he already lost his son, and he has the suit in the case and all that. But you're saying he doesn't know who this person is? What? You're kidding me. Like, he should have known already. He should have heard about a guy saving people in random spots and doing all
No, no,
these
no, 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 no.
random acts
No,
already.
no. I think you got that confused. I mean, at the very beginning, because when he arrives there,
Yeah, well, he was
this
looking
is
up and the buildings were being destroyed. He was
yeah.
watching the
So
battle,
this is
but
the
that's
world
his
being
first encounter.
yeah. This is everyone
That's
finding
what I
about
don't
Superman.
like.
Oh, okay.
That I don't like that. All right, before that encounter even happened, right? What did Clark do? He saved an oil rig and disappeared. He was a fisherman, all this other stuff, right? He disappears and saves the oil rig.
Yeah.
You're telling me Batman didn't learn about that already? He already knew. He would have put two and two together. It's like, so that's the guy that saved the oil rig, huh? Okay, well, I gotta save the people in my building before he smashed into it. Damn. Like,
Right.
that's the attitude he would have. He wouldn't have been angry. He would have assessed what his personality was already. He would have figured out, oh, okay, he must be the dude that saved the oil rig. He must have been the guy that saved these people when traveling through the US, whatever it was he was doing. He was a drifter. He was doing the Rambo thing. You hear the song Long Road as he's walking away as he puts that truck in the freaking telephone pole area. That was awesome.
Right.
So you do that. You're telling me he didn't know this already? This is Batman we're talking about. So that annoyed me. He should have known, like assessed it already. He's analytical about everything. So how is that his first? So that's the only thing that bothered me. I don't mind the scene. I just don't like that all of a sudden he's enraged and this is my first experience with the super beings. No, don't give me that. Don't give me that. He knew already about Flash and Aquaman and all these people, but he didn't know about Superman. This is retarded. That annoyed me. They don't tell me that what triggered him to look for these people already. He's been looking for metahumans already. Don't say that, okay, because this is what he saw, the destruction, and he wanted to fight against them because of this. Like that was annoying. Whoever wrote that, I don't think that Snyder really wanted that to happen, but I guess he did it because he wanted to connect the two movies. But that really, honestly, should not have been his quote unquote first time ever seeing and hearing about Superman.
Hmm. Okay. All right. How did you? Okay. Now you know as much as I do. I'm a huge Batman fan, and
Mm-hmm.
when they announced Ben Affleck, I kind of I jumped on that bandwagon. I'll admit it. I was like, what? Ben Affleck? Oh man! Oh my God! No, no,
You
come
remember
on,
what I
man.
said about that?
And that's what I'm going to get to. You told me something that I did not know. What? Tell everybody. What did you tell me that actually completely changed my mind?
Oh, well, let's go when he was Daredevil and why I was kind of against that first.
Yeah.
So I was against the idea at first because of that. I was
Yeah, I
like,
was
damn.
definitely
I
against it
mean,
because of that too.
uh, Daredevil, right? He didn't write it, but everybody
No.
shunned it or whatever. And then he said this thing that annoyed me. Any actor who puts on tights to further the career is not an actor and should not, push these movies or whatever. Like it was around that area where he said that, and this was
Um.
obviously years ago. That upset Stan and a couple other people, and that's how come you never saw him in a Marvel movie again because that's just ridiculous. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And that when I heard the announcement of him being Batman, I'm like, well, are you serious? This is the guy that said anybody who puts on tights, blah blah blah, and you're having this guy is actually making the decision to do that. I'm like, come on, bro. Shunned these years ago. Now you're gonna try again. First of all, you should have apologized for what you said years ago about that because now you're coming in to a character that I love. That this is my favorite DC hero, and you already took a dump on Daredevil, and you're gonna be an iconic hero. This is the face of DC. I don't care what anybody says. It's not Superman. Batman. Batman
No.
is the face of DC, who, like Spider-Man, is the face of Marvel. These are the two keystone characters. Because what is Batman? He's a keystone character. So you're gonna be this guy, Bruce Wayne, who's also Batman, and you took a dump on superhero movies years ago by what you said.
Mhm.
First, you were having a good time making the movie, and then when it didn't, and you took a huge diuretic dump all over it. All right, cool. Thanks, bro. I don't want you playing this role. I'm annoyed from what you said. And then finding out, I remember, well, not finding out, I remember him being Kevin Smith. So I'm like, well, this guy is fandom is really high. He plays a character in a Kevin Smith movie that does comics. And he did Bloodman and Chronic.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, that was the characters they did that. Then Kevin Smith pointed something out. I don't like that he's like into the MCU, but so far that it's just insane. Like you pull him out, and it's just poo all over his head. So he said something about, I've been friends with Ben for so many years. He's a huge fan of Batman. Don't worry about it. You could trust him. All this stuff. And I kept thinking, I'm like, well, damn, I could. Yeah, I know that because he sold his house to Kevin in LA. So I'm sitting there like, yes, I know they're really friends, and Kevin writes comics. I'm gonna kind of listen. This is before Kevin went all fucking, excuse my language, pro Marvel,
Yeah.
and he said all this, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna believe him because I've been a fan of Smith for a while, and then this is when I told you that he's a huge fan of Batman, and maybe we should give him a chance because he doesn't suck as an actor, and I'm glad we had him as Batman.
Mhm.
I really wish that he can stay as Batman. It sucks that he's going through the things that he is, but I rather have him wait until he gets better and give him the chance to do the movie that he wanted to do, and not replace him with the sparkly fairy from Twilight.
Right.
I don't need a sparkly fairy from Twilight to play this character. This is an insult to us. I haven't seen him do a movie that I liked yet. This actor, no, I haven't seen him do a movie yet. I didn't like Tom Hardy for a while because he never made a movie I liked until I watched Warrior, and then I started taking interest in some of his movies. And then he did another one called The Drop, which I like that movie too, where he plays a guy that's a little slow and all this stuff, right? But he was not my Bane. Bane's South American. He's Latino.
Yeah.
So you took a Latino character where everybody was black. So if we got plenty of black heroes, we don't got that many and villains, all that stuff. And you took one of the most iconic Latino villains and turned them into a Eastern European mess. Like, oh yes, he's got the beautiful voice. I was like, are you Dracula, bro? Like, what's up with this voice? Like, I can't right now. You are not my Bane. Like, this is stupid. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is freaking horrible. I still hate your Bane. I can't stand this. Like, this is retarded. I prefer. I know you're gonna freaking hate me for this, but I still prefer the uh, the Batman and Robin
Oh
version
Jesus God. Oh
over the
God.
Tom Hardy version.
Oh,
That was more
oh,
of Bane than the Tom Hardy one, and he had the classic costume and everything, the luchador costume and everything. Man, it was so
yeah.
funny, bro.
Oh
But
my
you
God.
know, I still prefer that version because it was just more. It was to me, it was more accurate than this version in this movie. That was a horrible way to end the movie. And then Talia like wanting to kill Bruce was stupid. Like that, you
You
ruined that
kill my
character
dad. You
because,
kill my dad, and all this. Like what?
which
Go
was
away.
stupid because one, they didn't put on the premise that he used the Lazarus pit to be immortal, all this other stuff. So, anyways,
Yeah.
they made him not as smart as what he should have been. And Liam Neeson deserved better than that. A memory, dream, nightmare thing, whatever. He deserved to actually show up again and do whatever Ray will always do. And so, digressing again. But, anyways, you. Oh man, I spaced out on my question. What was the question?
What did you think of Ben Affleck as Batman?
Oh yes, yes. Okay. Anyways, long story, right? So yes, he was really good. I thought he did a good Bruce too, though. Like everybody's like, all right, first of all, you remember what I said about Michael Keaton should be playing the old version of Batman anyways, because he's old enough for it now.
Yeah.
I still feel that we should have done that, but anyways, it's a completely different movie. He, from what I told you, it would turned you is because of the Kevin Smith story and all that
Hmm.
stuff, and that I
It
was like,
well,
yo, but Ben is a good actor though. Like
yeah.
I could see that he's changed in his movies. Ever since he started directing some of his movies, you can see his acting changed. You can
That
see
and
his
also Jennifer
personality
Gardner.
changed.
Jennifer Gardner. She toned him down from his wild ways for the time
Yeah,
being until their
but
problems started. But she actually
did she
helped.
really though? Because look at what he ended up in. Like,
Yeah,
how do
that's
you
what I'm
end up like
saying.
that way still? Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
much help
So
did she really give? I don't think so. But I think he just kind of tried to be the dad. I think it's
yeah,
when his kid was born. That's when he changed. I don't think it was
yeah,
her. I think it's him trying to be a dad. And things just got stressful, and his addiction to gambling and drinking was a little stronger than he thought.
yeah,
I feel bad for him that he has to go
yeah.
through that, but I wish they just waited for him to continue the role. Don't just give it up. Don't
Well,
like give him a chance. Like let him
I
come
know.
back.
Okay. From this is my take on what Ben Affleck did. I was on that bandwagon, but when David told me about him being that he's a huge Batman fan and he was just essing all over Daredevil and everything. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Daredevil is pretty much a discount Batman. That's pretty much what he is. He's a discount Batman. He has a good skill set for his own right. He has a
Yep.
great level of villains for his own right. It's understandable. But if you put him versus Bruce Wayne, he's a
It's
discount
over.
Batman. He's a
Yeah.
discount
Like,
Batman. I'm
and
sorry.
he's not even close to Moon Knight, bro. Like Moon Knight,
No.
all a human who doesn't have abilities. Because look, man, Daredevil has abilities.
Yeah.
He has abilities. Like I don't care what anybody says. This guy has super abilities. He ended up with extra dexterity, all this stuff when he got blinded by the toxic waste.
Mhm.
Moon Knight is a freaking multi-personality schizophrenic dude who goes around who is smart and beats the crap out of people. Unlike Batman, though, he kills his enemies.
Yep.
So he is not a discount Batman. He's the Brightburn Batman.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like,
Pretty
but he
much.
doesn't go around on his own murderous rages or anything like that. And there's a lot of people forget that he was a mercenary, so he's used to killing. He don't care.
Yeah.
He kills his enemies. You know what he did to Bushman? He skinned his face off. He cut it right off, bro. He did a Joker best in his face thing
Yeah.
during that little moment.
Yeah.
He cut that dude's face off and threw it on the ground like it was a wet nap. Like, this guy is not Batman, but he is the Marvel Batman.
Yeah.
They're saying they're going to make that movie. I'm upset.
Right.
They're going to ruin it, dude. They're going to turn him into a freaking G-rated Disney princess. I don't want to see that. This is why I can't stand Marvel. Moving back to DC now.
Okay. But after a couple of his interviews, and the number one thing that really got to me was he got in a huge amounts of shape.
Right.
He got in huge
minus the turkey legs. I was kind of like, what the hell, bro?
He got top heavy. He got top stacked. He looked like, it was like, wow. He looked, they put a comparison of him, and it looked like a comparison between Scott Snyder's Batman and him. And I was like, yep, that's it. That's Batman. And then when he said that,
no, you mean Christopher Nolan.
No.
Correction.
Scott Snyder. No, in the comic book.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah, Scott Snyder's.
Thank you. Yeah, that Batman was good.
Yeah, his run with Batman was phenomenal. Now, then he talked about that what Batman means to him, and he said that this is what Batman means to him, and that he wants to go back to traditional Batman. And everybody's like, oh, okay, no. People don't understand what traditional Batman means. Traditional Batman is the 80s and 90s Batman. That's the Batman that almost got that right before Bane broke his back. So this was during Death in the Family arc Batman. This is the Batman that was angry. He was beating the crap out of criminals left and right.
Yep.
He was a little bit more vicious. So if he said Golden Age Batman, then I'd be like, okay, then that means
he needs to tone down the size and get a little bit more lean. That type.
Yeah, he's
like
gonna,
Daredevil.
He's gonna look more like Christian Bale's Batman. That's World's Greatest Detective Batman, and he would be more of a detective, and that's understandable. But when he says traditional Batman, that means he's more modern Batman. He's gonna be the Silver Age Batman.
It's the Batman that we
grew with. And it was
Dark
during
Knight.
Before the Dark Knight series Batman. So I was like, all right. And then when at the Comic-Con event, and they said that, and Zack Snyder sat down and he says, so what can you give us about this Batman? He told him right off the bat, he says, this Batman is broken down. He's used. He's angry.
Yeah, he lost his son. Yeah.
And and he's pretty much saying F the world. And I'm like, okay, so we're getting Dark Knight Returns Batman. Okay, we're gonna get a mean, cruel, vicious Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
And I had no problem with it.
Willing to kill people.
Yeah, he has no qualms.
He's tired of it now.
Exactly.
And let me go back to son, for those of you who don't read comics and only follow the movies, I'm talking about Jason Todd.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Hood. Yep. Which I don't know if they're going to bring that. Like, see, because we're not having Ben anymore. So I don't know if we were ever going to get Red Hood. Like his son showing up. Can you imagine the emotion in that movie where the Red Hood shows up to quote unquote help him, but not help him? So that would have been such a great movie, man. Like, my son's alive. How'd this happen? Raish happened. He felt bad. But later on, Raish is like, next time I get one of your kids killed, I'm gonna leave them dead. Like, I'm not. Your kids are psycho, bro. Like, this is not cool.
So, so then I was like, all right. So I'm definitely gonna give him a chance. I will definitely give him a chance. So I sat in the movie, and when you saw the first scene and the music, the swelling of the music, and the cop was sitting there looking, and he saw the corner of his eye. And you saw him just posted up against that wall. I was like, damn. That cop went, oh my God, boom. And he saw him climbing across the ceiling, and he was zigzagging. I was like, dude, this is Batman. He scared the crap out of that cop.
Yeah,
dude.
He turned into an Olympic athlete, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I just jumped over your car.
Oh.
And stopped you from dying. How about that later?
Yeah,
like,
right?
Wait, what?
So
is that the billionaire? Like,
yeah, right.
What's going on here?
So then when he was doing his killing spree in the movie, and I'm gonna say he did a killing spree. He was killing people
Man,
left and
he
right.
did Arkham fight
Level
style, man.
Batman,
I
yeah.
love that so much. Like that, people are like, oh, well, he didn't fight like Batman. Batman fight like that all the time.
Right.
You all, that's when you, anybody who says this to me, you just told me you
You
do
don't know
not
nothing.
read comics.
No.
This dude fights like that. That's why the game has that engine, the fight engine the way it is. Because in the comics, if you pay attention, that's exactly how he fights. Now go back to Batman Returns. Remember when he shot the grappling hook and the guy was like, haha, you missed. And he pulled it and hit a piece of the freaking wall, smashed in the head. That dude's dead, okay? But still,
Right.
he went bam. Now that was a murder. All right. Oh man, you got to go back to those Batmans, right?
Yep.
This is why this Batman works so well in the movies. This is why I got to give Ben props.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Keaton helped him be that. Christian
Yeah.
Bell did not kill in his movie, which is, like you said, Detective didn't do that. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the Batman we got in the 80s and 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Michael Keaton movies, because those are the only Batman movies. Val Kilmer was okay and everything.
Yeah.
I do appreciate him, but he
Yep.
just didn't give it another chance because he went to do The Saint, which, I'm glad he did because the ballerina and dancing from the other movie after that was just horrible. Anyways.
Yeah.
So Michael Keaton, in the first movie, when he drove to the warehouse, what did he do? How many people did he kill in that scene? Everybody. He dropped bombs. Didn't even get out the car. Shot out all these bombs and just drove out. And everybody's like, what's going on? Boom.
Right.
At least 100 villains dead. This is the Batman that everybody did not pay attention to. They did not. They're like, well, Batman doesn't kill. Man, you obviously did not see that Miller theaters, did you? Dude,
Yeah.
that was Frank Miller. That wasn't even like regular. Holy shit.
Well,
Excuse me.
I think a lot of people didn't understand that Tim Burton got the inspiration to create his movie from the Dark Knight Returns book. He said it. He loved that book. He loved that book so much. That's why he created that
Murder.
version. Yeah,
That's all you hear in his head.
Two
Murder.
S's. He didn't care. So
And this is when you learn Tim Burton's morbidality.
Yeah, right.
Like this guy is like super weird, man. Whimsical, morbid Batmans and stuff like that. Like Batman was murderous in those movies.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a segue to how you said when he was fighting. It was the Arkham style. Mm-hmm. He was killing those people. Dude stabs him in the shoulder, bro, and he gives him that robot look. I was like, yo, you my Batman forever now.
Yeah, right. I still love that scene, dude. I might even pop that movie in and watch it again. I love that scene.
Right? It's like, you're totally my Batman, bro.
He went through.
That scene said it.
Yeah, that scene was enough right there. That got everyone going, damn, this is, dude, that's Batman. He goes in, and he doesn't carry a wide variety of gadgets. There's no way. He can't carry a wide variety of gadgets, so he has to use what he has to use. And he went in, disabled their guns, got them so discombobulated, he ran in, beat the crap out of every single one of them, and he walked out with what? A knife in the shoulder. When they could have put a knife in his head. They put a knife in his shoulder, and he got angry, and he even hit him even harder. He kicked the guy.
His pain tolerance is ridiculous, man. That's like, whoa. But people forget he almost killed Superman before that.
Right. And then on top,
excuse me. See, man, I got ahead of myself. So what was the one thing? Martha.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's like, really? Where'd you hear that name? Like, oh.
So when I saw the whole movie, I liked the theatrical cut. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is really cool. This is what I wanted to see. Then when they said that they had 30 extra minutes of, I was like, shh, done.
Hold up.
I was like,
done.
Let
me see. I remember you were like, oh, you know what? I'm glad that I watched this movie. I'm definitely going to buy this. And you got the collector that.
Yep.
I was like, isn't that the one with the weird mud doll? Like, this is the one that's not Superman doll. This is like, it's all mud.
Yeah, right.
It's melted. It looks like the toy you put on a cake and it melted because the candles were too close.
Right.
that was the crappy part of the the special edition. But other than that, like, you get the extra minutes and all that.
Yeah.
And hearing more about what Clark is doing, why he did.
Basically, Clark was doing reporter stuff. That's pretty much what we were doing. He was investigating about Batman. And Lois in the Ultimate Edition had her own story, and it was actually
Yeah,
how
she
she
was in
linked.
the Middle East, right? Or
Yeah,
Africa?
she went to the
Africa.
Middle East, and then she had that bullet, and we're like, okay, well, okay, what the heck's she doing with this bullet? And she's walking around, and she's basically just walking around doing nothing. But in the Ultimate cut, we were like, oh, she's investigating about this bullet, and that's how she was able to link Lex to all of it. So
Yeah,
if it
because
wasn't for
there was some kind of crime that happened, and she had to do a story over there, anyways. And then
Yeah,
she
no, 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 no,
found
no, no, no. She had an interview with the local warlord in Africa.
right, but that tied in like, whoa, whoa, whoa. She wanted to do that story, and
Yeah, and
then
then and then they
the
then
editor said, "No, I need you to go over here for the warlord stuff, whatever, blah blah."
mm,
And they only wanted to talk to her because she was a Pulitzer winning, so she was famous.
yeah.
They wanted to kill a famous person, is what it was. And all this happened, and they didn't know she had the ultimate weapon on her side. And that was the mistake that everybody makes. You don't know who you're talking to until it's too late.
Well, it was all part of the
And
plan. That's the reason why she was requested to go
that's what
there.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
what they wanted to kill a famous. This is, remember, this religion's distorted by these people that are zealots. They wanted to kill somebody famous on camera. That's what it really was. They wanted to post her up and all this other stuff. What they didn't know, who her future husband was. She had the ultimate weapon with her out. Now, this is why she was a little bit braver too, though, if you think about it. Like, yeah, she's a little scared, but she knows in her heart, if she sneezes in a horrible way, who's going to show up to help her?
yeah,
He can hear her from across the planet. That's scary. That's you don't ever need a phone for this guy. You don't need a bat signal. She can have a bad stomach ache and he'll know and find a way to help her. Like, you're in trouble. This guy is infatuated with this human. This is a god among men
right.
who can hear her across the globe. They didn't know this. They just wanted to kill somebody famous. That was their goal. They wanted to set an example to the, what do they call us again? They call us something stupid. And it's like, well, what do we do
Uh,
to you, bro? Like,
Basically, he called us the pious Americans.
right. So this annoyed me. It's like, okay, well, what did we really do to you? Like, what did America, everybody in the whole didn't do this to you? So you're just going after our people, assuming that everybody thinks like this. So you're going to try to kill somebody famous, which you don't know that you're in trouble because a lot of people didn't know this until it's too late, until Lex was like, nah, man, I know what I'm doing. He's a manipulator. He knows. But these bad guys are not that smart. They're stupid. He shows up, annihilates everybody, and that's when she finds the bullet. And that's when that Blackwater guy notices it, and then they try to go after her and all this stuff, but it didn't work out, whatever. But they
Um,
learned that day, oops, it was that opie dopey moment in that movie where you're like, why wasn't this in the theatrical version? Like, he showed up like, wow. Like, he just saved people too, and he just like, oh, my girl's in trouble. Poof. What was it? Not longer than like 20 seconds later at the most, he annihilates these dudes before they can even freaking cut her hair. I was like, wow, that's crazy. This guy's
yep.
like legit.
So okay. So I know this one's gonna be pretty controversial. How how do you feel about Gal being Diana Prince, Wonder Woman?
Oh man, you already heard me say this though. I can't do this. All right, hold up. I was mad that her excuse was, well, I'm still a model, so I can't really bulk up for this. I'm like, all right, hold on. F you, one, because Diana Prince is one, an Amazonian woman who is strong, but she has more muscle. Like, she has meat on her bones. Like, you can tell, like, if she hits you, your head's gonna be blowing out your ass. Okay? Like, this person, I don't see a toothpick hurting me very much. I don't say you punch me, I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm like, yo, you don't got enough muscle to pack a punch, so I don't care if you were made from mud. You're still not strong enough to hurt me. Go away. Like that's the attitude that Superman had. Really, when Superman showed up, that's the attitude. He was like, oh, but you see this and you're looking at it like, oh, I don't see her as Wonder Woman because she never bulked up. She's worried about her modeling career, quote unquote. Your modeling career is not going to last forever, but your acting can last a long time. And everybody was like, well, acting doesn't last long. Say that to Helen. Okay. Say that to Judi Dench. These ladies are in their golden years now, and they are still making great movies. Especially Helen Mirren. Look at it. She was in Red. That's another comic book movie that people didn't even know was a comic book movie.
Right.
And she was cool in that movie. You're telling me that gal's excuse was okay? Don't justify that. Shut up. If I was the movie studio, I'm like, nah, I don't care about your modeling career. If you want to be an actress, you need to bulk up for this role. If you want to be a model, then I wish you good luck. You're not having this role. Go away. Or if you want to keep it, bulk up, be in shape, prove that you can do this because you got people like that one girl in American Ninja Warrior that she is more built to be Wonder Woman than Wonder Woman in the movie was. Look, the story was cool. It was fun. It was a popcorn movie. And somehow it was like, oh my gosh, it's super spectacular. Marvel screwed up, man. They could have had that, but whatever, they screwed up.
Okay.
She should have bulked up. She should have had more muscle tone and everything like that. Now, people don't understand when I'm saying bulk up, I'm not talking about like she needs to be a butch person. Like people don't understand, like in the bodybuilding world, you have those ones, you have the butch ones that are like, Barda and all of them, like, ugh. And then you got the ones who stay in shape, but they still look like women. She could have done that. And Diana Prince was a model in the movies. Not in the movies, but well, in the cartoons, yeah. She
Yeah.
was always a model in the comic book cartoon and all that stuff. And this one all of a sudden she's a bookworm? What?
She's
Like, get out of here. She's in the museum
they made her
doing all
a museum
the tech.
curator basically.
Yes. Well, she's not the curator, but she just helps with that one area department. Artifacts and all that.
Historical pieces and
Right.
historical
She's a
relics.
historical person. So in the Louvre. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. That's annoying. That annoyed me. You really should have just kept it as she was a model and all this stuff, but she looked like somebody, even as a model, like, wow, she looks like she could punch a hole through somebody's chest. All right, cool.
But if you, I
It
mean, if you really think about it, she was a model. If we even, well, at that time we didn't have her movie, so okay, but it wouldn't have made sense if she showed up in the 1910s, fought in World War One, and what did she do in that time frame? So she couldn't have been a model that whole time, or it'd be like, how the hell is this woman living for
No,
so
but I
long?
mean, this is what it was,
But
right? Like she
I
probably
mean,
did like different careers,
yeah, she could have had a whole bunch of different careers.
and she was a model in the current day, which would have should have stayed that way.
Hmm. Okay.
And uh, she should have been in warrior shape regardless through the years. That should have never went away. Why? Because she was made of mud. Once she hit a certain age, she one stopped aging, and whatever shape she was in from the training that she got from the Amazonians stuck no matter what. Like she is unable to get out of shape. Like that's the shape that she's in. She's not in a shape. She's in shape to battle. She's not in a shape to model like all the time, like toothpick ideals that we had. She was the one that was like fitness. There you go, just fitness models today, the way they are. You're telling me you couldn't do that? You're lying to yourself. You just didn't want to do that. And I know that she had a kid or whatever, but come on, man. There's people out there that there's. My wife showed me a video of this old lady, black woman, great, phenomenal shape, in better shape than Gal. And this lady was like in her 60s, and she had more muscle. She was lean, and she had more muscle, but she looked more like Wonder Woman than Gal. all day. So I'm sitting there like, how are you gonna lie to yourself? You just were lazy and didn't want to take the role serious. That's what it was. Like, if you're afraid to act, then just admit it. Don't do it. Well, they'll find somebody else. I'm sure there was somebody else out there that could have done a better role, like the actress from Vikings could have done it better. You're telling me,
Oh,
and that
Catherine
she's a
Winnick.
martial, right? And she's a martial artist, and she was in shape for battle already. She's still thin, but not thin. Like, you're telling me that there's an issue there? There wasn't. There's just the feminazi attitude that kept pushing for the BS. Like, well, she doesn't have to be blah blah blah. No, you just don't want to be embarrassed by a Wonder Woman that should be Wonder Woman. That's what it is, and that's what upset me about her being Wonder Woman. Now I'm still kind of annoyed with it because she's still in the same shape, and that still bothers me. Like, she hasn't toned up at all.
Hmm.
Shut up.
Okay.
We're doing a podcast. Shut up. Jesus Christ. Anyways, but yeah, that's what annoyed me about that Wonder Woman.
Okay. All right. Um, how okay, how did you feel about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex?
No, no, I don't think so. I don't think he should have been Lex. Like, he was. Yeah, it's just like you got an older Batman, and you know Lex is a little older than Clark, right? So he and Bruce should have been around the same age. If you're gonna do an older, grizzled Batman, that means Lex should have been already upset and mean and all this other stuff because Bruce always shunned him and put him down and never wanted to team up with him and help him with his projects because Bruce had way more money than, and Lex would always try to go to him for a grant or whatever it was, and Bruce would always say no because he doesn't like Radio Shack. He was like, go away. Like, I'm your Best Buy to your Radio Shack. Go away, bro. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're a nut job. He knew what he was. Why? Because what he do when he was Batman, he dealt with nut jobs. He knows a nut job when he sees one, so he doesn't deal with them. Obviously, you wouldn't tell him that, but he would be very professional about it and say no. So it really should have been an older person, somebody that was closer to the age. He was way too young. You're telling me he's Zach Zuckerberg from the Facebook movie, whatever garbage movie that was. I forgot the name of the movie, but
Hmm.
social media, whatever it was. It was a garbage movie. And we got this really young version, and we got an older Batman. That's nonsense. They should be around the same age. They were competitors for a lot of the government contracts and everything like that. This little wet nap is competing against Wayne Tech? No, I don't think so. Like, they would have shunned him down all day. Why? Because he's not an older Lex. An older Lex would have made a lot of sense in the context of the story. As his acting standpoint, I think he did okay, but again, you have an older Batman. You should have been around his age because you guys are the same age. You're older than Clark, even though he's an alien that won't age the way we do, but you're older than him. So you should show that, represent that in the movie. That was a bad casting call on my point. Like, the movie was good, but there was some bad casting, and that was one of them. There should have been an older one. Like they said, Bryan Cranston might have been up for it. I don't know if that was true, but he definitely would have been a better choice when it came to like close to age or older, obviously, but not that much, and it would have made more sense. And the competitiveness of the companies and the sinister ideas already, because you got to be seasoned into that type of villain. That's too young to be that type of villain. It's impossible to be already at that point. Lex grew into that version of himself. He didn't just pop up like that when he was younger. He grew into that. So this toddler is not my Lex. Just stay in Zombieland, bro. That's a fun movie.
Okay, all right. Um, I kind of disagree. I think that they were growing. He was growing very. He was growing into his own. But the plan that he did to, in the context of what they were doing, felt very Lex. And I I get very upset because people don't understand Lex. And you're right. You're right that Lex is a competitor with Bruce Wayne. He's always been a competitor with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Lex Core and Wayne Tech. It's understandable. But when it comes down to Lex as a character, people don't understand him. They're like, "Oh, he's not my Lex." I go, "Okay, what's your Lex do?" He goes, he hates Superman, isn't he? But he said flat out, "I hate you. I don't like." Actually, he says, "I don't." He says, "I don't hate you. I hate the idea." He
What
hates
you
the
represent,
idea
yeah.
of what he represents, and that's exactly what Lex is. He hates the
But
idea of Superman.
I don't say that he's not my Lex because of that. I say he's not my Lex because he was too young
No, no,
for
it's
to
understandable.
be
No, no,
against him. Yeah.
I agree. I understand what you're talking about. I'm just looking at what they were trying to do with in the context of the story, and they were trying to build Lex in the same way they're trying to build Superman. Because if he's an already established Lex Luthor, then Batman would be already all over him. The moment every like the moment he said um the moment he figured out that the white Portuguese had something to do with Lex Luthor, he'd been like, okay, Lex is behind all this. He'd been all over it. No, I don't think the story would have made sense because he needs to be thinking that Lex is that no one will look at him. No one will look at him, and having him young and the way he is, the way he has these quirks and these little knickknacks and these quirks that he has that people were very upset about. Would you look at him as he's at a dangerous person? Would you look at him as someone that you'd be like, this guy can't do anything. He's an idiot, and that was the thing.
Well,
And
uh, from me experiencing the, with my former job and all that, like I would
yeah,
have looked at him like knowing from an intellectual aspect of it, yes, because the money that he has at his disposal at that time and the technology that he has, yes, that's very dangerous because he can wipe you out like financially easily, like,
yeah,
and you can never prove it. That's dangerous. He could destroy your identity. Well, that's what people go by, like their identity. So if he destroys who you are, man, he could do the net against you. Remember
pretty
that
much.
movie, The Net?
Yep.
Like you lose everything in a flash. That's it. It's over. That's dangerous. You can't prove it anymore. There's nothing you can do. Like I don't care if somebody can beat you up. That's okay. Whatever. You can heal from that. But try to repair your identity that was taken from you, that was erased. That's dangerous. That
Yeah.
that could ruin lives. You can end up dying destitute because of that. So yeah, I would never see him as a meek person. I'm like, yo, you got all this at your disposal. Damn, like
Yeah.
I gotta tiptoe around you, bro. Like this is
Yeah.
not
That
cool.
and that's what I was looking at for him. Like there's a sinisterness with him, especially at the one part in that movie that really made me go, "That's Lex," was was the scene where he was giving his speech, and he was talking about that power corrupts and power corrupts absolutely. He goes that's paradoxical, and because what he's saying contradicts who he is. It contradicts what everything he believes in, and he can't. And that's paradoxical. That doesn't make sense. It's a false statement. And he almost let go of his personality right there until he went, oh, okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a
Yeah,
weird, crazy person thing, like, but that's a
yeah,
smart crazy person thing. Like that, I've seen
exactly.
this with people that are, they say people who are geniuses are borderline psychopaths.
Yeah,
And that's a true statement because you're saying that Albert Einstein wasn't a psychopath. This man helped
yeah,
invent the most destructive weapon in the world. That man was a psychopath and a mass murderer, if you really think about it. But how
yeah,
did people become kings? You kill thousands and
yeah,
they worship you for it. If you kill a handful of people, you're a monster. But if you kill thousands in a swoop, you're a king.
yeah,
So come on now, and everybody, like our heroes are basically villains. Uh, People worship Billy the Kid, Jesse James, all these people. They're villains.
Yeah.
They killed hundreds of people through their span of their life, and we worship that. Like that's
Mhm.
our ideal. That's our like, hey, that's great. You guys are awesome. Like,
Mhm.
but no, that's not awesome. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah.
we're the good guys. Like, come on, there was good people at this time. Like, where's those stories at? Of course,
Yeah.
it's not entertaining. It's
No.
trying to
It's always
eat
the villain.
crackers without water.
Yeah. And I always go by this premise that, and people, and said this before, but I stand by it. A superhero story, a story itself cannot have is the story of the villain. The story of the villain is what drives the conflict with the hero. And if your villain sucks, then your movie's gonna suck. And that's why I said that Lex was a great villain in that movie, because his whole plan is a Lex Luthor plan. He made a plan to make the world hate Superman, and he used Batman as a point to have both Batman and Superman go at each other, because he knew that there's going to be only one person that's going to go toe to toe with Superman and not blink an eyeball, and that's Batman. Batman will not blink an eyeball at anybody, because that's not the type of person he is. He
That
will,
and Granny's PhD.
yeah, right. So, so that's why I stand behind. I say I understand. I do. I understand how people feel like, oh, there's just something off with him and this. But that's the thing about that version of Lex. He's young. He's not ingrown into his personality yet, until the scene where Superman confronts him on the top of Lex Tower, and he tells him his whole plan. That's Lex finally getting out. That's the Lex Luthor, the Machiavellian, the egotistical, the schmarmy, the just laying it all out, saying that you can't stop me. I have your mom. You're gonna go kill Batman, or Batman's gonna kill you. Whichever happens first doesn't matter to me. But if you fly away, you try to look for her, your mom dies. The only way that's gonna happen is you got to bring me the head of the bat, and I'm gonna prove that God will bow to my will, and that there is no such thing as gods. That you are just as weak and helpless as anybody else, and they're not going to look up to you anymore. Does that sound like something that Lex would do? Yes. That's
Yeah, all
Lex.
day.
Lex will always do something like that. And I go, like you've always said, it annoys me. It annoys me that people are sitting there saying that, oh, Jesse did a bad job. He's not Lex Luthor. I go, okay, if he doesn't fit your mold of Lex Luthor, that's fine. But the plot of him in that movie is a Lex Luthor plan. That
Yeah.
is exactly something that Lex would do. He would do a huge campaign to make the world hate Superman. He would put hero versus hero to make sure that Superman has to make a choice. And would okay, if you have a personal animosity, if you don't like his the aesthetic of his Lex, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You can have that. That's perfectly fine. But to say that that's not Lex, I go, yes, it is. That is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, as a character, like, see, my thing is like people misunderstand what I'm trying to say about that, right? You obviously understand because,
Yeah,
look, man, I just don't like the idea that he was too young for me. I
yeah,
didn't say anything about his acting. His
nope.
acting was good. He's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like the idea that it was a young Lex going after them, playing with them and all that. That's a thing that's developed. That's not just something that, oh well, I'm a young entrepreneur. You can just jump into that. Everybody assumes like, oh, you just didn't like him because of this and this and that. I was like, well, you're
You're
misunderstanding what I'm
yeah,
saying.
you're just assuming it.
I
You're
didn't
just assuming it.
say he wasn't a good Lex. I just feel he was too young for that
Yeah,
role. I
yeah.
didn't say that he wasn't good. See, people need to pay attention to that, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm clarifying it here and now because every time I tell this to people, face to face, and I'm just giving this look like, wow, you hear what you want. Like you
Yeah.
guys just stick with movies. You don't read comics or whatever like that, obviously, because you would have known the way Lex acts is exactly how you described him. The
Mm-hmm.
guy is like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he believes in the Illuminati, sort of stuff. Like the guy is a scholar and
Mm-hmm.
he's a huge academic and he doesn't progress in the way that Bruce does though.
No.
Like
Bru-
his intellect, he's egotistical, so his intellect doesn't evolve like Bruce as Batman.
Yeah,
as Bruce Wayne with
it's a little
Lucius and all
stagnant.
them.
It's a little stagnant because
Yeah, he's stuck in a a water where it's breathing mosquitoes. Like it's
Mhm.
not going anywhere. This is where he's in a puddle of water while Bruce has an ocean as his disposal. He
Mhm.
has Lucius Fox. Man, come on. This guy has one of the smartest men out there. And for anybody who doesn't know, he's always been black. He was never a white guy. Like even in the original comics,
Mhm.
when Lucius finally, he was always a black man.
Yep.
So for somebody to say like, why is Morgan Freeman that character? Because he's always been black.
He's always been black.
Yeah, like this is the
Yeah,
one time they
hell,
didn't
when they
change it.
first, I think when they first introduced him in the '80s, he was a black guy.
He was black guy. He was just obviously the color wasn't done right because back in the day the printing process wasn't, I mean, as vibrant as it is now.
Yeah.
But he's always been a black man. And
Yeah.
then his son became
Ba- uh,
Batwing.
yeah, Batwing.
Batwing, yeah,
Yeah,
and he got
Luke.
beat up by Bruce.
Yeah.
So, and then when
Yeah,
Bruce
right.
found out it was Lucius' kid, he was like, "Yo, let me teach you how to not get in my way."
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir. No
Yeah.
problem, sir. And he did this without admitting who he was. He just stayed as Batman, told him, "Stay out of my way, but I'm going to help you. But you come across me again like this, and I'm going to put you in the dirt. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to put you in your place because
Yeah,
now you're annoying me."
I'll have to rip off that aluminum foil you call an armor and then beat the crap out of
Yeah,
you, kid.
and how he found out was because of the dad.
Pretty much.
This and this. He's like, "That's Bruce, fool. Stay out of the way. The stuff you're wearing is because of him. Shut up."
Right. He
He
can shut it
tells you to
off like
stay
it's
out the
nothing.
way. Yeah, and then after that, did Batwing ever get in his way again? No.
No, he
He was
joined up
like,
with them.
"No,
He joined up with them. So it was
can
like,
I
yep,
can I
they
help
stay.
you in any way?" Yes, sir. Not a problem. You are obviously seasoned at this and not the person I thought you were. Besides
Yeah.
the fact that you were there to help raise me intellectually.
Right.
So I'm sorry for disrespecting you. Because Bruce helped him get through college.
Yep.
He paid for it.
Yep.
So he totally felt apologetic once he found that out, and he always helps him now. Even though that comic didn't do very good, though.
Yeah, the Batwing comment didn't do that well.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
sucks because it could have been better, but just the way they did him, it was kind of like, damn,
He
you
was
guys could have went a
the
little
way
bit different.
from what I from some of the stuff I've heard that they kind of made him very egotistical. They made him
Yeah, that
real
was the problem.
egotistical. So that was gonna be a problem. Okay. Um. Okay. How did you feel about how they did the ending, the death of Superman in BVS? Do you
The
think it was too?
Abomination, because I can't call it Doomsday, obviously,
Yeah.
because Schneider said it's not Doomsday. It's an
Yeah.
abomination. It's exactly what it is. Um, it's basically Zod's body mutated into some abomination
Yeah.
mud monster, basically. Him sacrificing himself, it made sense. But in the same time, it's like, well, if he's dying against the abomination, what's going to happen when you actually bring Doomsday? Like, you going to kill him again? Like, now that's going to overdo it. I think he should have been uh, wounded, but not dead, though. I think they should not die. I think they should have just wounded him. And that Superman's in a hiatus. Like, oh, we can't find Superman. Like, have him disappear and heal, not kill him. And then when you make a movie where he's actually fighting Doomsday or whatever it is, because you admitted that wasn't Doomsday, the one monster that killed him toe to toe. So if it's not Doomsday, then you should have mortally wounded him, like on the side of the stomach where it's not vital, but it should have like jacked him up a little bit. Like maybe the blood of the monster poisoned him a little bit or whatever it was, and
Don't
then
do
have
that.
him.
Don't do
Uh,
that. Don't do that. That sounds so much from Radioactive Man in Quest for
well,
Peace.
no, but
Don't
you
do
know what I
that.
mean. Like something got him
Yeah.
sick. Like
Yeah.
maybe there was kryptonite in the monster's blood, and come on, kryptonite is always this dude's weakness. So
Right.
maybe there was something up with the abomination that made him have to go into a healing state. He had to go and
Or
to
suspended
Fortress of
hibernation.
Solitude. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he had to go to Fortress of Solitude and chill because uh, he was hurt mortally,
Okay.
almost died. He's not Doomsday. That was said. So he shouldn't have died in that movie. I think he should have just been mortally wounded, and Bruce helped him heal, and that should have built their relationship. Now, it's not as funny as the scene that we got in Justice League. Funny, but again,
Oh
the
gosh.
Marvel universe hurt us
Right.
again by getting Mr. Avenger, comical goofball from TV. I'm like, dude, you made one show, two shows that I liked, Firefly and Angel. Okay, but you turned Justice League into a comical mess like it was in the '60s.
Yeah.
Kind of
He,
hate
he
you
he
right
did Super
now.
Friends. He did Super Friends.
Yes, I hate you right now. Like this, you should have
Okay.
never touched the movie, bro.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we did a great segue. All right. Now we're about an hour and a half into this, so we're gonna try to wrap this up after Justice League. Okay. So I know that you haven't been when all that came down and the Justice League was coming out. You saw the trailers and everything, right?
Oh man. Okay. The thing that sold me on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
One, the Junkie XL song was great.
Okay.
So you and then oh man, that guy, what's his name? Clark. The
Yeah.
musician, Gary Clark or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Like he
Gary Clark
did
Jr. Yeah.
yes. So he did that song just sounded great. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I saw Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and he was like, yo, like all hyper, I'm like, I love this movie already. Like
Right.
just right off that, just him alone saved that movie for me. I mean, look, man, Batman, you know, Batman is still Batman for me. But what
Yeah.
made me really excited to watch the movie was Jason Momoa. I was so hyped after watching that trailer. I had goosebumps, man. I wanted to see that movie so bad. I'm like, oh my God, we finally got an actual Aquaman. Somebody who's indigenous to water. Like, not some pasty, paled, vampire looking person that's supposedly supposed to be a water person. Nah, man, we got an actual Polynesian dude as Aquaman. Thank the heavens. Like, I'm so happy for this. That's what made me want to watch it.
Okay. What got me to want to watch it was the fact that okay, I'm gonna set something up here. As you guys know, Darkseid is my favorite villain in DC. He's my favorite
Yep.
villain, and there's a reasoning why, and I put it in a video before. But with Darkseid, it's not about Darkseid to me is how David is with Vandal Savage. It's not about their physicality, it's their ideology. It's the fact
Yeah.
that he believes that the universe is in chaos. He believes the universe is in absolute chaos, and the only way to corral it is to bring it under his boot, is under bring it under his heel, and he's the only one that can do it. Now, that isn't something that if you go to Marvel, there's only one villain out of that whole thing that believes in that, and that's Doctor Doom.
Yep.
So
And he's not technically a villain, man. I
yeah,
hate when
exactly.
people say that.
But Darkseid, yeah, he's evil. He's evil.
Oh no, he's a monster, bro.
He's a
His name is
monster.
Darkseid.
You know?
Like,
So
it's like, bro, and not spelled side like on the side. The guy has like a Sith Lord name, man. Like this
yeah,
dude is not right.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
the just the knowledge when they did BVS and they showed that nightmare sequence and we saw the parademons, I had a tear in my eye. I was like, we're finally gonna get Darkseid. We're gonna get Darkseid live
no.
action. This movie sold me. Zack Snyder, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then they said that their first confrontation was gonna get Steppenwolf. I was like, yep, okay, you got me sold. Sold.
Which is
I don't.
great
Yeah, it
until
was.
Josh Whedon
Uh,
got a hold of it. Oh,
oh
damn
boy,
you.
right?
I feel
Uh,
so bad for Schneider. I really do. I wish that your family can heal from the situation that happened. I'm so sad that
yeah,
that
it's.
happened to you.
Yep.
But they ruined your legacy.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like, God, I hate you, Josh Whedon. I hate you. You gave us been made in these. What the? I can't.
Mm.
I hate you.
Okay.
Oh
So
man,
so
your head's so far up Marvel's ass that you ruined DC movie. Great,
pretty much.
thanks a lot,
And
scumbag.
so when I saw the first trailer, and we had it was called "Come Together." That's the song that
Yeah,
Gary Clark Jr. did,
that was
and
the Beatles
yep.
version.
Um, when I saw Jason Momoa as Aquaman and him with the eyes, it looked I call it the Incredible Hulk eyes. He has the Incredible Hulk eyes, and and you see
He
the
has the eyes of
water,
a demon fish.
yeah, right, and he the water's hitting him, and he's sitting there drinking a bottle of JD,
And
and
smashes it
like it's
yeah,
nothing. I'm
biker.
like, okay, he's got me sold on this. All right, this is great. But then when you see the parademons and you
Yeah,
hear
and he didn't ride
Stephen,
in on the seahorse either. Damn it.
yeah, right. And then
Super friends.
and
Sorry.
then when you see Steppenwolf and you hear Steppenwolf, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be real fun. They're still keeping it serious. They're still keeping it. There's a there's a serious thing going on here, and there's something that, in all honesty, this is way beyond their purview. I mean, Wonder Woman, yeah, I fought monsters. No, you never fought an alien being before. I'm sorry, you've not. I mean, come on.
Right.
You,
And here's the thing, right? When you, sorry, but when you mentioned Steppenwolf's voice and all that, which was really cool, right?
mm-hmm.
This is my mistake of going to the down for Iron. I'm going back to this. This is a mistake with the Iron Man 3 situation where I've watched this, and the reason why I wanted to see this, like, America, there are no heroes. Like
Yeah.
that right there, I'm thinking, oh, and then finding out that it was garbage. But thank God, Super Friends wasn't as bad as that.
No, it
So,
wasn't. I mean, Steppenwolf.
yay, Super Friends! Like,
Yeah.
like,
So yeah,
God.
Steppenwolf wasn't that bad. He is a kind of a forgettable villain, but not as much as from
Well, I mean, he
Suicide
is the
Squad.
uncle. He is
But
the uncle, though. Like,
yeah,
he should have been a little bit tougher.
yeah, he should
But
be a little bit
again,
tougher.
we got the Super Friends, and
So
it's fighting SpongeBob. Yay!
yay. So
It's like,
so I was hyped for this movie. Now this is gonna be kind of hard for you, man. How
hmm.
okay, when you saw the movie without going to sailor mode, without going into sailor mode, how
Oops. It's like, I'll try not to, but yeah,
yeah.
let's give
So
me the
how did you feel about the movie?
Super Friends. Yay! Like, again, I already said it. I hate you, Josh. We
Okay, all
did
right,
to
there
this
you
movie.
go. Okay, all right.
So, all right, this movie should have been so much better, bro. But the scene where Superman shows up and they have this like moment, and you gotta love Jason's comical timing. Like, I don't know why this dude doesn't do comedy. He's such a fun-loving dude and has all this. This makes you just want to watch this dude's movies. He
Hmm.
had a long career, man. This guy totally deserved this, but
Yeah,
he was looking at them. To, I hate Cyborg. You know I hate Cyborg. I can't
yeah.
stand Cyborg, and I still hate Cyborg, even in this movie. I just can't stand Cyborg. It's a horrible hero. So, blech. Uh, he was like, your heart rate's going up. He's like, he ain't right. Something's wrong, bro. He ain't right. Of course, my heart rate. We're gonna die. Like, I don't want to die. I'm too young to die. Like the attitude that he had, he's like, your heart rate should be going up too, fool. Like, well, what's this? You popping up a gun? Like, are you serious right now? Oh, we're gonna die. Like,
Yeah, right.
and then it happens, and Superman's whooping them and beating them up and all this stuff. And when the Flash notices,
The
oops,
greatest scene out of
he
that whole
can
movie.
see me. He can
The
see me. Oh my
Oh no.
God, I'm
Oh
gonna
no, he
die.
can. He's like, oh God.
Whoa, bam! I'm like, Henry Cavill, you'll always be my man, bro.
Yeah,
This was
right.
amazing. The look on his face was like, where are you going? Like,
Yeah,
oh, is this injustice? We got the injustice Superman, not the one we wanted.
yeah, I know, right? Just the
Oh
oh my
no,
God, that was the greatest.
he's
That
taking
was the
over the
greatest
world.
scene out
We're
of the whole movie,
screwed.
man. Oh my
So yeah,
God,
that
the
scene was so
Justice
funny.
League
And then when he
versus Superman.
grabbed, well, you when he grabbed Batman, and he was like, crushing him. He's like, oh man, what do you say to him about like, oh, do you bleed?
Yeah.
Martha.
He's like, Martha,
And he
Martha.
throws him into the car like he was a freaking crumbled up piece of can, man. Like he just
Yeah.
flesh bag.
Yeah.
Man, thank God for Alfred being basically his dad. Like that guy was like, I know what to do, son. Just give me some time. Oh, you almost died. Wow, good thing I brought the chick.
The big
Ooh,
guns.
jeez. Yeah, no kidding, right?
Oh my
Was it
God.
size triple D? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right?
It's like,
So,
yeesh.
okay, so okay, so both you and I can agree that Justice League was pretty much a piece of ass. It was a piece of crap. Okay. Um
Mm-hmm.
when I first saw the movie, um now I'm going to set on a basis here. We're going to have to go back to Marvel. And Joss Whedon did
Yeah.
the first Marvel movies, did the first Avengers movie. I liked it. It was a good
It
movie.
was fun, yeah.
It was fun. But when he did the second movie, it was terrible. It wasn't that good. The Age
Yeah.
of Ultron was not that
It
good.
showed that he was like, paycheck, please. That's the attitude I got from that movie.
No. But
I'm telling you, it's
from
the
behind the
carnal skin.
scenes, this is from behind the scenes. I think I told you this that you remember the scene where Scarlet Witch used her powers on Banner and forced his transformation. That was supposed to be our first introduction to the Gray Hulk to show that there's differences in Bruce Banner and the Hulk. That's why he was supposed to be more rampaging. His eyes were bloodshot. But from what I heard, Kevin Feige came right behind Joss Whedon and told him to change that.
Oh God, I can't stand that guy. This is why I hate Marvel. Your guy who runs Marvel is hot trash. Like,
Hmm.
I'd rather have a 30-minute diarrhea moment than have this guy make any more movies. Get out of Marvel, bro. Get fired. I hope Disney figures it out one day. Fire you and go away. Man, like,
Yeah, he
nobody wants
so
to sit on the toilet that long, so think about it.
yeah. So that's what I heard. And then he wanted to change Ultron's personality to make him more PG, and that's why we got Ultron the
Yo,
way he was.
he turned Ultron into a Duracell battery. That's the intellect that he had.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This
So
guy, and
so
using Stark as the brain pattern. I'm like, okay, first
yeah.
of all, no,
No.
that's stupid.
Yeah. So okay. Um so if you really think about it, and also that was one of the main reasons why Joss Whedon said that he couldn't do anymore because he felt burnt out. And it came out that there was a lot of creative differences between him and Kevin Feige and Disney. So I went with the basis of, I mean, just using history and knowledge. I mean, do tell of Joss Whedon's going to come in. He's not going to mess with Zack Snyder's movies because he's not going to mess with the movie because he knows exactly how it feels to have higher ups coming out of nowhere telling him what to do and what to change. He's going to keep
Yeah,
everything the way it
bro.
is.
Josh
Come on,
Whedon is the friend of me that nobody wants.
exactly. So then so I went in the movie with that basis, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty cool, but there's certain things that makes no sense. He made Batman way more open than he's supposed to be. I understand he's in there's a life or death situation. The world's gonna be at stake, so he has to be a little more
Yeah, but
open.
like every hero knew exactly who he was right away. Like he
Exactly.
introduced
That was
himself
a
as Bruce right away. That bothered me. I'm
yeah. That
put up as
yep
Batman to everybody.
yep.
And then behind closed doors, in the safety of one of his super machines that he always makes, then maybe he'll take off the cowl.
Hmm. And he took him immediately to the Batcave. He would never do that.
What? He never
He
took anybody to the Batcave except for Clark.
Yeah, maybe Clark and maybe Diana. Maybe Diana.
Nah. I
No, no, no.
mean,
I'm saying the
no.
word maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe. It just
no.
depends. But
I mean, the Flash found it himself by running around like a speedster does.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, so this is where you've been all this time. Like, that was a cool moment in the comic where Bruce was like, he was surprised, but at the same time, he was like, well, it is Barry.
Yeah, he was like,
So,
"Hey, what the hell? Oh, no, no, no." So, so I was thinking through the movie, I was like, I was enjoying it and everything, But then when I start hearing more of the behind the scenes, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Joss Whedon changed 60% of this movie?
Oh
What?
my God, dude, that's a lot. That
Yeah.
was even like that's why I'm saying Superman,
Yeah.
yay!
So
Like,
so a lot of
come
things
on,
made no
bro.
sense. And then on top of it, if you go back to the interviews, look at Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck's demeanor. If you look at both their demeanors when they talk about Zack Snyder in the movie, they get clammy. They don't talk. But if you look at Ray Fisher, Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller, out of all of them, Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller are just having fun. They don't care. They're like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
in the
but who
movie.
mentioned Schneider cut?
Yeah.
Who did that?
Uh,
Aquaman.
yeah. It was Jason
The
and
first
Ray.
one to do it.
Yeah, it
The
was Jason and
first
Ray.
one to do it. Like they were
Um,
like, what the hell? Yeah, I want to see the original.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
screw Super Friends.
yeah. So I mean, to me, I was like, I enjoyed the movie. I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna take away the enjoyment of the movie, but it didn't make sense. Nothing. A lot of it made no sense.
Yeah, there was a
Um,
lot of dumb moments.
yeah, a
Like,
lot of dumb moments, and on top of, he made them. If you look at it, okay, one of the biggest things in there, and I think even you will be like, you're gonna get very upset. Is
the race moment.
huh, no, um,
Oh, okay.
no, it's not that. It was when they were about to go. They were about to go to Russia, and Bruce was walking away. He was gonna walk away after their confrontation with Superman, and he talked to Aquaman and said, he goes, so can you send out you know a feeler? And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then he said, so do you talk to fish? I'm like, what? When the hell you ever Batman stumble over words to somebody? When
Yeah,
ever
right. Like
Batman?
he wouldn't have been afraid. He was like, "Do you talk to Fisher?" That should have been the attitude. He's like, kind of."
Yeah,
That the one who
yeah.
should have stumbled
No,
was
no,
Aquaman.
no, right
He should
here.
have been like,
No, no,
look,
no,
kind
no,
of like
no,
that's
no.
how it should have
Yeah,
been.
yeah. It should have been flipped. If you look at Jason's face was my face when Batman told him that question. I was like, the fuck kind of what the hell is this question for, dude? What the hell? What the hell is this? Even my face was going that. I was like, what?
But see, that kind of makes me wonder. Like, was Ben afraid of Jason for real though? Like,
I don't think so, but it was just
right?
weird.
Like, it was like, are you afraid of him as a person? Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
or like,
what? This
why are you
guy
so
is a
fun
huge.
loving, bro? Like,
This dude's a huge teddy bear, man. I mean, yeah, don't piss him off. He'll throw an axe in your face, but he's a fun-loving guy. He's a huge fun-loving guy. I don't. Me personally, I just did not understand that scene.
Batman the bumbling idiot.
Yeah,
Ah, Josh Whedon wrote that.
yeah.
Okay,
It must have been a Joss
figures.
Whedon line. And then on top of it, and then when Superman showed up and said, I know you didn't bring me back just because you like me. He says, I not. I'm like, what? That's not Batman.
I don't not like you. Like what?
Yeah,
All right,
what?
hold up. He's like,
I went time out. Time
first of
out.
all, his
What?
response was like, "Who said I didn't like you?" Well, your actions kind of told me that you almost murdered me the first time, so I was kind of assuming that you like. He's like, "Nah, man, I
Oh
just thought you were gonna
man,
kill a
dude.
lot of people."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I was like,
oh,
oh my god, man. So that scene, um,
I
they
mean, I
made
can see
him.
why now because of Josh Whedon fumble that why Ben is like, I gotta walk away from this, and he's gonna turn me into fucking
Yes,
the
that's what
super friend. Like, I
yeah,
don't
just
want
Super Friends
this.
Batman. That's not traditional Batman. Get the fuck out of here with that. So, the other thing was, if you look into the movie, they were way too chummy. If you really think about it, they were way too chummy.
That's
Now
what
the
I'm
only
saying. It's super friends. It's
yeah,
Josh Whedon wishing that he was friends with.
yes,
I
that's
live
what
in
I
an
thought.
imaginary world every day. Like, oh, shut up, guy.
Yeah. So,
Go back to making TV.
so that's my only thing out of that whole movie. The one of the funniest parts out of that whole movie was the Flash scene that
Hmm.
you and I
There was a
chuckled at.
couple moments
Yeah, it was
he
a
was
couple movies,
funny. Like,
but the other scene was when Superman showed up and just beat the living. I mean, he'd even when he just completely one-shotted freaking Steppenwolf all
what's your
over the
name?
place. I was like, well,
Steppenwolf? Yeah, I'm gonna step all over you, bro. Like,
he's
what?
all. I
A
was like,
Kryptonian?
yeah, he's all Kryptonian. Superman. I was like, yeah, you're dead, dude. You already lost your cool. You're done, dude. I mean, Superman's just smiling at you, dude. I was
But
like, well, you're
that the
done. I
thing
mean,
is though, the people don't understand that Kryptonians are not super strong beings on Krypton.
no.
So they're like us, squishy, malleable flesh, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's when he built a reputation on Earth because of the sun. That's when they started noticing. But then he never called him Kryptonian until after he fought some of the minions already.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, the Kryptonian. Like, this, people stumbled on that because he proved what he was. I will stop you. I am the guardian of this planet. Go
Yeah.
away.
Go away.
Like that didn't happen yet. So for him to be afraid of a Kryptonian already, that's gotta be a Josh Whedon thing. Because
Yeah.
Steppenwolf should have
Yeah.
been like, if it was Schneider, Steppenwolf would have been like, what are you gonna pow? Oh, I give up. Like, stop hitting me. Like, don't hit me ever again. This was horrible. Like,
Right?
this is the worst thing I've ever experienced. My
Yeah. Right.
teeth are on the back of my throat. Like, leave me alone. Like, don't hit
Right?
me again. What are you again? A Kryptonian. No,
You.
a what? Do these guys still exist in the universe? Darkseid would be like, nah, bro, they're dead. Well, apparently there's one alive, and I have dentures.
Yeah. Right.
That's how it should have ended up. Like,
God, man.
but we got Josh Whedon ruining the
Yeah.
movie
I have a
60%. Man,
feeling.
that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I have a feeling he rewrote
Anything
that.
that was solid, like Batman's dark, brooding attitude, and Superman being what it is, I feel that was Schneider. And anything that was opie dopey was definitely Josh Whedon. I can't. I can't remember the alien race from the Star Wars movies, but I always call them the opie dopies because I just can't do it.
Rhodians.
Rhodians, yes, I can't stand them. Opie dopey. Like, oh man, you're the Special Olympics of Star Wars. It's
So
like, man, no
yeah,
offense to handicapped people,
yeah.
you guys are tough as all can be, but I feel that there's people out there that are normal that by far
They're
not
just
intelligent
no,
next
not
to you.
intelligent
Like,
enough.
you're super smart next to. Oh, speaking of like Ben Affleck, hoping that he'll come back as Batman eventually. The accountant,
Yeah,
hands down, should make him still be Batman. Like, you can't say he's not Batman. Like, that movie, he played an autistic person very well. The person that's on the spectrum, he played him so well, and he was methodical. Like, that should have been the Batman we should have had in Justice League,
yep.
and we didn't have that.
Nope,
But
because we got
that's just a
robbed.
digression. But yeah, hopefully we get another one of those movies.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, I understand them doing the race between Flash and Superman, but I never would have done it in that movie. That doesn't
No,
make
never.
sense.
That was totally a Super Friends moment from the
That looks
Obi
like
Dobi director.
yeah,
God, we
that
didn't.
was
Like,
stupid. I don't know why they
oh, I
introduced that.
can't do it, man. Like, and
Yeah.
you know what? I hope Josh hears this, bro. You need to sit down. I'm telling you, man. I can't stand you. I hate you right now. You got to redeem yourself, bro. Like, I won't even watch your old shows because of what you did.
Yeah, he all he had to do was just say, you know what? He could have came in and said, "You want me to finish it? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, well we want you to change. I'm not changing nothing. Could have said that right off the bat. I'm not changing anything. You get somebody else to do it. I'm not touching this.
Yeah, you asked me
I
to
know how it
finish it. You
feels.
didn't ask me to remake it. Like, know the difference, my dude.
Yeah, I'm not changing anything. And here's the thing: the Snyder Cut exists. Okay, the Snyder Cut exists. I don't care what everybody says. The Snyder Cut exists. The cut that Zack Snyder filmed was 99 of the storyboards, and I know David knows. If you film 99% of the storyboards, that's the movie.
The only thing you need to do is make sure the credits are.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all. Why you even bring him in? Just have him watch over the editing and make sure. Oh, you spelled that dude's name wrong. Fix that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he should have been
Yeah,
doing.
put in
Like,
the credits,
oh, well,
put in the score, get rid of Danny Elfman. He's the one they're the ones that brought Danny Elfman and Mr. Oh, there's only one Batman theme. No, there's been 3. There's 3 Batman themes. Leave.
I like the Junkie XL one. It's not bad.
Yeah,
I like that version.
the Hans Zimmer one, the Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL one was phenomenal for BVS. It made sense to that
Yeah, it
version
was
of
cool,
Batman.
man. Like, oh, and it's like that moment. Like, I think the song was playing when the Abomination was coming after him, and
Yeah.
he didn't even look to the other side. He just pointed the grappling hook to his right and said, "Nope,"
Yep.
and disappeared. He was like, "Do not come at me. I am very squishy." Like,
Yeah.
oh man, but that song was super cool, man. Like, how are you hating that?
Yeah, man. I mean, and then he brought in the Batman theme, which made no sense. He brought in the John Williams theme that, in a way, it made sense, but you didn't need to put that in. They could just use the Ideal of Hope, his theme from Man of Steel. That would have been perfect. I mean, I don't know why they didn't do that, but it just seemed throughout that whole movie they wanted to get away from Zack Snyder's movie, even though they slapped his freaking name on the
Uh,
damn movie.
yeah, why are you hating on this man? Like, I just don't understand. Like, you're hating on the wrong person. You should have been mad at Josh for ruining it.
Mm,
Like, and dumb enough to listen to your stupid ideas because you don't
yeah,
read comics.
right. Well, not even that. It's um, Jeff Johns was a part of this whole situation, and this dude wrote for
Oh
comics for
man,
years. And I
yeah,
mean, I'm
that's
not
what
gonna throw
made
him
me
under
so
the
mad, bro.
bus. I'm not gonna completely throw the man under the bus. He
He's
just
not
made some
thrown under the
very,
bus.
very
He laid in
stupid
the street,
ideas.
waited for the bus to park on him. Like this
Yeah,
guy, you should have stopped that. Hey, is that the bus? I'll lay here. Bus stop. Yay, speed bump.
yeah,
That's what he was. That he is a freaking speed bump. This guy. He is becoming the faggy of Marvel for DC.
yeah.
Do
And
not follow faggy. Stay away from him. Just stick to the dark stories of DC.
or here's the
Stick to
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. And I think I told. Yeah, we discussed this a long time ago. Why change his movie when he only wanted to do 5 movies? You scratched 2 of his movies to go down to 3. Okay, but why did you just let this movie come out and you could have rebooted everything? Who cares? You could have still had Ben Affleck. You could have still had Henry Cavill. You could have still had Gal Gadot, Jason, Ezra, and even Ray Fisher, and you could have still did all these other movies and used some of the elements from Zack Snyder's movies to build their universes. You could have still James Wan could have still kept doing his movie. Patty Jenkins did her movie. You could have just tweaked it a little bit and kept going. You could have had Ben whatever movie he could have done. And from what we're hearing is that his Batman movie would have been all set in Arkham Asylum.
I know, man. I wanted to see that so bad.
Yeah. So whatever Ben would have done, you could have changed a few
We would
things
have
and
had
kept going.
Joe. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We would have had Joe.
Joe Manganiello
Oh, oh my gosh,
as
man. We got
Deathstroke.
ruined. Yeah, I'm
So
telling
I
you,
mean,
dude. We could have had, and he was cool looking too.
yeah, and you're telling me that you wanted to screw this movie up so you can make $1 billion profit. No, just let the movie come out, let the movie stand, and then go, hey, listen, we're going to retool, but we're going to keep the actors, we're going to retool, and we're going to construct our universe based off of some elements that we feel that was good, and we're going to change certain things that wasn't appreciated, and we're going to do a new universe. I think everybody would have been perfectly fine with it as long as we kept the main actors. If everybody was still there, Ben would have been happy. You could have left him alone, let him do his own movie. You could have we would have had another Superman movie. We could have still had Shazam.
Yeah.
We could have everything already set if they just allowed Zack Snyder to have his movie out and just said, hey, let this movie stand on his own. Let his Man of Steel, BVS, and his and Justice League stand on their own, and we could have moved forward with anything else and changed the universe just a little bit, not in a Marvel way, but a little bit different, and keep it in an aesthetic to what the people liked, and change certain things that people didn't like. But they didn't do that. They didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they just pissed off more and more fans. And now we got such a divided fandom, and people are fighting for the Snyder cut, which I'm fighting for,
I
and I
wanted
want
to.
it. I want it. I want to see what Zack Snyder did. His cut. They're saying his cut's like over 3 hours. I want it. No, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And
I
there's
don't care if
another
it's
one.
freaking 4 hours. I want to see it.
Yeah, if it's 4 hours, I want to see it. I will sit through it. Oh, I gotta use the bathroom. Then get up and go to the bathroom. You're not gonna, dude. Going to the bathroom takes 5 minutes. You're not missing a lot.
Yep. 5 minutes. Ooh, man, you walk slow. It only takes a minute at the most to drain.
Well, no,
And
no, no, no,
then,
no, no. It depends on how far the bathroom is, dude. That's what I'm saying.
nah,
I'm
man, you
saying
walk
walking
slow,
distance.
bro. Like, I've walked far before and only missed like 3 minutes at the most. Like, you walk slow. Like,
Yeah, well,
you obviously don't want to watch this movie.
hey, shut up, man. Yes, I do.
It's like,
So,
but James Wan, I want to shake his hand for making Aquaman.
mhm,
That was fun. But we're not going to get an Aquaman 2 until, you know what?
2021.
People who are attacking the Hawaiian sacred land, go away. I
I
don't
know,
care
right?
about your telescope or whatever it is.
No, no one gives
Shove it up
two
your
S's.
butt and go away. Dude, go somewhere else. Like, you already got a telescope in Hawaii. Leave me alone. Leave that
Right?
land alone. Go away. Don't ruin that land. If
Right?
it's sacred land, walk away.
Leave it alone.
You're
Yeah.
like, you're garbage at this point. Just go away. And then we got the Amazon burning down. It's like, oh, good. We're not gonna have fresh air anymore. Thanks.
Right?
Corporate freaking disgusting people. That's awesome of you for hiring scumbags to burn the forest. Where were you, Captain Planet? It's like, damn it. Like,
So,
this is what's slowing down right now because like you got people who actually care about, and Jason lives like this. He said it many times. He lives with nature. So
hmm
this is a serious thing for him. This is why the movie got slowed down. So I don't know. And you and I
no,
both
no,
know
no,
that
no, no, no.
James is busy
No, they
doing
were
other things
already.
too.
Well, no, no, they were already talking about. They were already talking about Aquaman's not coming out until 2021 anyway because James Wan's doing the Mortal Kombat. He's doing the Mortal Kombat reboot, and he's producing two other films.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's
So
busy. And then he
yeah, he's
just did
busy,
Swamp
and
Thing.
Jason's busy, and Jason's doing Dune. So it's like they got other stuff on their plate right now. So Aquaman's
I'm
gonna
kind
take
of
a while.
worried about that because I kind of wanted Peter Berg to do Dune. Like, because Peter Berg has the styling of Michael Mann. Michael Mann was like his mentor, so he makes these like
Yeah,
really intense, like edge of your seat type movies, like Kingdom. You remember that movie about the terrorists and all that? Jamie Foxx was in it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like he has these like intense movies, and I like those movies because it
He has,
has this
yeah.
really cool underlying story that people don't notice because of the intensity at first. But if you're like me, you pay attention to the story. Like you're gonna like that movie. But we don't always get that. And then
No,
look at movies like Collateral. Like you saw the intensity in that movie. Michael
Collateral was
Mann,
awesome, dude. Collateral was awesome.
he makes these movies like I want either like Peter Berg and Michael Mann to grab a DC movie. Don't go to Marvel because they're obviously never gonna make a good
No, too
movie.
intense. No, too intense
Go
for
to a
them.
DC movie.
What
Make
would
an
they do?
awesome,
We'll do
intense
a
DC movie.
yeah,
But yeah, that's something else to talk about. That's another
yeah,
subject.
yeah. There's another subject. We'll talk about that another time. Um, one other thing I wanted to talk about in a later, and I'll put that on part of a note list that I want to talk about the different Robins and and everything else. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. But yeah, so we can say that Justice League was just a complete debacle, and we want to see the Snyder cut. And what WB has done is pretty much the most stupidest thing they've ever did. They should have just honestly just brought out the movie. I would just invest the money into it, take the hit, get the movie out, let the fans enjoy what Zack Snyder was going to do, because at least then you're acknowledging the fact that we screwed up, we majorly screwed up, and we're going to take a financial. I would just take the financial hit. I mean,
Yo,
that's
but
not what
what
it
if they
really.
made the mistake of throwing it away? Can you imagine that? Oh,
Oh, dude, they can't do
they
that.
would lose
I
so
mean,
many
I think that
fans.
I don't think
They
they
would
can
lose
do that.
billions.
Well, no, I don't think they can do that because I think that Zack Snyder still has rights on that director's cut.
Thank God.
I don't think they can. If they throw that away and Zack Snyder has to, and also you gotta remember if they bring it out, Zack Snyder has to have say so on the whatever they release. So if they say, "Well, yeah, well, we accidentally lost it," Zack Snyder be like, "What?" Then I want I want I want royalties on that. he has to get paid. He has to get paid even more money for that because
Yeah.
because that's
I
not
mean,
that's
look,
not cool.
man, we
So
had these extended versions of Lord of the Rings, and you're telling me you can't give us this?
I know,
That's
right?
ridiculous. And
It
those
is
movies were
ridiculous. It's stupid.
long.
So,
I'm like,
but we're gonna keep fighting for it. I know a lot of people are gonna keep fighting for it, and I'll keep my head forward to see what comes out and any new developments. Now there are a few that, like I said, Zack Snyder said at the Snyder event that that happened down in Valencia. He stated that the movie is an hour, and there's one cut that's an hour 65, and then there's another one that's an hour 2 hour 214 minutes. So there's one that's 165 minutes, another one that's 214. And he says that the one that he filmed is 214. So
man,
you're looking at it's over 3 hours, easy.
I want to see that.
I want to see that. Now, um, he said he has multiple cuts of the movie, which makes sense. I mean, he started filming that movie in April of 2016. That's when he started filming, and he filmed all of Henry's scenes first because he had to leave to go,
Do other movies.
well, no, it's not even that. He had to grow out his mustache to do Fallout and his beard and get
Well,
himself into
no,
shape for
that
that.
and what was that movie that he was in? Man from Uncle. Mustache.
No, he didn't have a mustache in Man from Uncle.
That at the end, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay, then. So it was definitely for Fallout.
Yeah, it was for Fallout. Um, and then we know that filmed his scenes third from the top because that's when he left to go through his rehab. Then the second person to film that was done filming was Gal Gadot because she was pregnant. She was pregnant on the set, so she had to give birth to her kid and go back to Israel. Um, then Ezra had to be done next because he was off to go film Fantastic Beasts 2. And the last person that was done filming was Jason Momoa because when he was done, he had to go to Iceland and he threw that on his Instagram. So that's fact. So if he was done with all that filming, let's say by November, which will make sense because he's a workaholic and he knew what he already had a game plan. He already had a blueprint of what he wanted to do. So if he filmed all that by November and he was doing the ADR and the voicing and everything else by December into January, and then by February that's when Autumn passed. That's when his daughter Autumn passed.
Yeah.
So but he kept trucking along, and by May that's when he left. And you're telling me that he didn't have a film? The hell? Hell, a Blumhouse film, most Blumhouse films can be filmed within like 4 or 5 months. I
Yep.
mean, they're low budget. They can be filmed in 4 or 5 months. So get the heck out of here. You're telling me this guy can't make a film? It's stupid. So, there's a lot of no nonsense and people that are thinking that people are dumb. And that's why I'm doing this podcast because I know myself and David here, we have a lot to talk about and we want to get this out. And it's something we've been wanting to do for a while now. And we're going to try to do this as often as we can, but our schedules are a little conflicting, and we're not going to try to make it this long, but this is our first one, and we wanted to get out about the first three of Zack Snyder's movies in the DC, and we'll try to talk a little bit more about some of the later ones, um, like Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad and
Oh
Shazam.
God.
I know. And Shazam and even Aquaman and how well we liked. I loved Aquaman and I love Shazam. Um, and I enjoyed Wonder Woman, but I feel there were problems. But we'll talk about those in other movies. But I'd like to thank David for joining with us. And you
Yeah,
got anything
good
else you
times,
want to
good
say?
times. Nah,
Well,
man. I mean, hopefully, we get a fan base and we could keep doing this, and
heck yeah.
it's fun, man. Because I hear a lot of guys out there that try to do this stuff, and I hear the knowledge that they have, and it's very minimal. It's like they Wikipedia it right away, and then
Yeah.
they want to talk about it like they had knowledge from growing up. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No.
well. a true person who had knowledge from it would speak the way we do and joke around like the way we do really quickly.
Yeah.
Anybody that's doing a lot of these shows now, I noticed they just Wikipedia and then try to, get out there just to be out there. They're the filler in a sandwich that you don't want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, they're that wet lettuce that you taste when you taste into a
Oh,
BLT. You're like,
God.
oh my God, get this crap out
No
of here.
nutrition, all filler.
You're right. Jeez. But hey, guys, thanks for joining with us, and you guys have a great one. Bye.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.